Chapter 807. I know. I'll do what I promised you. Xiaowan didn't seem to have forgotten her promise. But I don't think Enrich will forgive you so easily. That's the key. Huamin said worriedly. Xiaowan froze slightly and fell silent. How's he doing? Xiaowan asked, which was rare of her. He's doing well, his condition is stable, but he's still a little depressed. He's not interested in anything. I asked the company to arrange some relaxing projects for him, and sometimes he'll go overseas to film. It's like a vacation. But that's not the key. The knot in his heart is you. The years you abandoned him. I know I've wronged him. I'll think of a way to make it up to him. Okay, we'll talk about it after Shuai's surgery. Once you're done with this, you'll be able to deal with the issue between you and Enrich. Okay? Then, Huamin left the room. Dr. Hua, someone's looking for you, a nurse called out. A nurse yelled. Huamian put on her glasses and walked towards the outpatient hall. From afar, he saw two skinny old men standing there with bags on their backs. Uncle Ning, Auntie Ning? Huamin was a little surprised to see Ning Ziyuan's parents here. Mian, we finally found you. We went to the first hospital, but they said you were here. We took a few buses and almost missed our stop, but we finally found you. Uncle, Auntie, why are you here? Although Huamin and Ning Ziyuan were like strangers, Huamin had always treated Ning Ziyuan well. However, he had always treated Ning's parents well. They were a pair of honest old people who were not picky or snobbish. They were honest and treated Huamin well. Don't mention it, it's a long story. Uncle, Auntie, you guys haven't eaten yet, right? Let's go, I'll take you guys out to eat. Huamian looked at her watch. It was just past lunchtime, but it seemed like the two of them hadn't eaten yet. No, we brought steamed buns, we'll just take a bite. You don't have to spend money. The old couple was embarrassed and insisted on not going. Uncle, Auntie, it's okay. My salary is quite high now. I'm not afraid of spending money. In the end, Huamin ignored their objections and drove them to a nearby Chinese restaurant. She ordered 6 dishes and 2 plates of dumplings. The two old men kept saying that it was enough. Huamin felt sad when he saw that they were so poor. Mian, are you still in contact with Ziyuan? No, Huamin answered honestly. Then what should we do? Auntie Ning began to wipe her tears. What's wrong? Annie, what happened? Don't cry. Ziyuan wasn't home that day, and Xiaoxue didn't seem to like us very much. Your uncle and I didn't stay over either, so we left right after dinner. We've been missing our granddaughter a lot lately. Maybe it's because we're getting older, so we wanted to visit her, but when we got there, we found out that the house had been sold. Xiaoxue had moved out, so we went to look for Ziyuan. The new house that he had prepared for you guys had been rented out, but we couldn't get through to his cell phone, so we couldn't find him. We went to look for him at work, and only then did we find out that he had been fired from the hospital. What happened? Auntie Wu spoke with snot and tears. Huamin listened quietly. It seemed like the two old men still didn't know that Wu Xiaoxue and Ning Ziyuan were divorced. They also didn't know that Wu Xiaoxue had moved to Chicago with her daughter. It would be even more difficult for them to see their granddaughter in the future. Asking a farmer couple to go to the United States was like a pipe dream. Uncle Ning put down his chopsticks and looked at Huamin. Mian, you're an honest child. You must know what happened, right? Did Xiaoxue and Ziyuan get into a fight? What happened to them? It wasn't easy for us to come here. We couldn't find our granddaughter or our son, so we had no choice but to ask you. Please don't think that we're troublesome. Uncle, Auntie, you're treating me like an outsider. Even if I'm not with Ziyuan, I'll always treat you guys as my family. Mian, then tell Auntie Ning. What happened to Ziyuan? Huamin didn't have the heart to answer the two old men's questions. He didn't know where to start. Chapter 808. Mian, are you hiding something from us? Upon seeing Huamin's hesitation, the two elders became even more suspicious. Uncle, Auntie, I'm not hiding anything from you. The truth is, to be honest, I haven't contacted Ziyuan in a long time. We haven't even seen each other, so I really don't know how he's doing. Then can you help us? Asked President Wu. I heard that President Wu is Xiaoxue's uncle. We don't have any ulterior motives. We just want to see our granddaughter. The old man looked at Huamin. almost begging her. Humin felt a little sad. Mian, Auntie knows you're a good girl. Can you help me and your uncle? We know that Brat Ziyuan did you wrong and didn't cherish you, but we hope that you can help us contact President Wu since we've been good to you, okay? We went to his office, but his assistant stopped us and refused to see us. The two of them said pitifully. President Wu was very busy every day, so it was normal that he didn't see outsiders. Plus, to the Wu family, Ning Ziyuan had hurt Wu Xiaoxue too deeply, so they didn't want to have anything to do with the Ning family. Humin only knew that Ning Ziyuan had been fired, but she didn't know where he went. He originally wanted to say a few words to brush them off and send them home first. However, it seemed like they wouldn't give up until all hope was gone. They still wanted to talk to President Wu. President Wu is very busy. He travels a lot, so maybe he's not at the hospital? Mian, if you really know something, just tell us. Don't hide it from us. Even if we go home today, we'll come back in a while. We miss our granddaughter. Upon hearing this, Humin fell silent for a few seconds. Then, she slowly said, Uncle, Auntie, don't come back. Wu Xiaoxue already moved out. Where did she move to? Did she have a fight with Ziyuan? We apologize on his behalf. Auntie Ning said anxiously, it's not as simple as a fight. Humin really didn't have the heart to tell them the cruel truth. What about it? Are they living separately? Auntie Ning asked. They're not living apart. They have already completed the divorce procedures. Finally, Humin said the cruel truth with great difficulty. Auntie Ning almost fainted when she heard this. Uncle Ning's expression also changed drastically. Oh my God, why is that? How long has it been since they got married? Why are you getting divorced? Aunt Ning wailed, ignoring the stares of the people around her. What about my granddaughter? Uncle Ning's fingers were trembling. He couldn't even hold the wine glass steadily. The child and Xiaoxue have gone to America. The whole family has left. America? After the two old men heard this, their eyes flashed with despair. Perhaps they all knew that America was a place that was out of their reach. Then what about Ziyuan? Uncle Ning asked again. I'm not sure either. I only heard that he made a mistake during a cataract surgery on a patient and was fired by President Wu. He's no longer in the first hospital. How could this be? The two old men were devastated. In the blink of an eye, their daughter-in-law and granddaughter left the country. Their daughter-in-law divorced their son, and their son was fired from the hospital. Then how can we contact Ziyuan? Should we call the police? Uncle Ning sighed and said, Uncle, I don't think Ziyuan would be in trouble. Maybe he's just in a bad mood and wants to hide for a few days. You're his parents, he'll definitely contact you. If we call the police and make a big deal out of it, it won't be good for him. Maybe he'll find a new job. You have a point. Lin Fan nodded. Then, Auntie Ning cried and Uncle Ning fell silent. Uncle, Auntie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hide it from you. I just didn't want to hurt you. Humin felt very guilty. Chapter 809. It's okay. We know you're doing this for our own good. But now that we know what's going on. We won't foolishly come looking for our granddaughter again. Mian, since we've made things clear, we won't disturb you any longer. Then, the two old men stood up. Auntie Ning handed a dirty bag to Humin. These are the mountain produce we brought this time, some wild mushrooms and bracken. We picked them ourselves in the mountains, washed them, and dried them for winter. Since we can't find them, you can keep them, as long as you don't mind. No, Uncle, Auntie. I don't mind. It's just that it's not easy for you guys. You're already so old, but you still have to pick them from the mountains. You should keep them for yourselves. No, we don't have anything else, but we have a lot of these things. You city people call them green food. Keep them, we have a lot more. Ignoring Humin's objections, Uncle Ning stuffed the bag into Humin's hands. Uncle, Annie, I'll drive you guys to the coach station, so you don't have to take the bus for too long. Then, Humin drove the two old men to the coach station and bought them tickets, some food, and water. Finally, Humin took out 3,000 yuan and handed it to Auntie Ning. She rarely carried cash with her and only had around 3,000 yuan in her wallet. Most of the time, she used her credit card. Auntie, take this money and eat something good with my uncle. You're old. Don't worry about your health. No, we can't take it. Kids, it's not easy for you to earn money. It's okay, take it, Uncle Andy. To be honest, I have a good job now, and I'm married. The husband I found is very good, and I don't lack money. Ziyuan's not doing too well right now. Don't worry too much. I hope he can get back on his feet. Take this money. It's a small token of my appreciation. It was obvious that the two old men of the Ning family didn't want to take it. They kept on arguing with Huimin, and it was very intense. However, Huimin really wanted to give it to them. She suddenly felt sorry for Ning Ziyuan's parents. She had worked hard for her son all her life, but in the end, she couldn't even see her granddaughter, unable to resist Huimin's insistence. The two tremblingly took the money and carefully put it in their pockets. Then, she shook Huimin's hand gratefully. My child, you have a kind heart. The Bodhisattva will bless you. We don't have much at home, but we do have a lot of free-range eggs, wild vegetables, and mushrooms. Whenever you want to eat, just drive over. We promise you'll have enough. All right. Huimin smiled. In the end, she watched as the two old people's bus left. Huimin felt terrible. She liked Ning Ziyuan's parents very much. They were simple and kind. It was a pity that they didn't have a son who didn't make them worry. It was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they returned to Southside. Just as Huimin was about to head upstairs, his phone rang. Sis, are you at work? Yes, what's wrong? Brother-in-law's mother is here again. She's so annoying, she's fighting with her again. After Jing Jixin finished speaking, Huimin couldn't wait to go downstairs. Then, he drove back to the old house. The yard was filled with neighbors this time. Qin Chu's mother came alone. She was dressed in designer clothes and carried a Louis Vuitton bag in her hand. She cursed out loud in the yard. When Huimin returned home, he heard the most vicious sentence, your daughter is a chicken that can't lay eggs. How long has she been married? Huh? She can't even lay a single egg. I'm telling you, the Qin family doesn't want a daughter-in-law like her. If she can't have any children, then get out of here as soon as possible. Don't think of using the name of a young lady of the Qin family to cheat people every day. She's so full of herself. After hearing this, Huimin felt very bad. Sis, you're back? Jixin saw Huimin and immediately ran over. Chapter 8:10. Humph, you came back just in time. Come on, tell everyone, did I wrong you? How long have you been married to my son? Huh. You didn't let my son come home and tied him to your bed every day. You didn't even give birth to a child. How can you face our ancestors by doing this? Lady Qin was originally isolated and helpless, and she didn't have the courage to continue fighting. However, Song Yisher's return to the country was like a shot of adrenaline to her. She immediately came back to life and began her ridiculous life of slandering Huimin. Huimin ignored her and walked up to Yang Meirong. Mom, are you okay? I'm fine, don't worry. I don't need to lower myself to her level. What kind of person am I? Huh. Make yourself clear, you're so poor that you hate the rich, and you have the nerve to criticize me? Being in-laws with someone like you, I must have had 8 lifetimes of bad luck. Lady Qin became more and more agitated as she spoke, and she pointed around the yard. She didn't care about what the people around her thought or said. After all, Yang Meirong had been here for a long time and had a good relationship with everyone. Auntie Wu couldn't stand it anymore. She walked over and pointed at Lady Qin. So, what if you're rich? Poor people like us don't welcome you. Leave, leave. Who do you think you are?
How dare you talk to me like that?
Do you know who I am? I don't care who you are. Anyways, your words are worse than farts. We don't want to see you. We don't want to get a needle in our eye. Auntie Wu is a commoner, so it was natural for her to be a little rude. However, it was very satisfying. Yeah, leave. You're not welcome here. Jing Jixin also stood on Auntie Wu's side and ordered her to leave. Huimin, is this how you treat your elders? Lady Qin didn't want to let go and targeted Huimin. Huimin poured a glass of water for his mother, who looked pale. Then he turned around to look at Mrs. Qin and said, I'm already being very polite to you. I thought you would have some self-awareness. After all, you're highly educated. Since you keep saying that you're from a noble family, then you should pay attention to your words and actions instead of cursing like a shrew. That's all because of you. You're a chicken that can't lay eggs. You're really a disgrace to the Qin family. Lady Qin's words were so vicious. Normal people wouldn't be able to take it. Huamin was not a celestial being, so she felt terrible too. However, she couldn't admit defeat, so she gritted her teeth and said, "Please, we haven't even figured out the situation yet. How do you know that I'm the one who's sick and not Qin Chu?"
What?
How dare you insult my son? How could my son have that kind of disease? You must be infertile. Don't say things like that too early. I think that since you're so ruthless, maybe even God wants you dead. You should leave yourself some leeway. I'm already so old. Do I need you to teach me that? Who do you think you are? Lady Qin was annoyed. It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is you. Look at yourself in the mirror before you talk about others. Your husband left you, and your son didn't let you attend the anniversary party because he was afraid that you'd ruin it. None of your rich friends came to visit you. I've never seen a failure like you in my life. Huamin shouldn't have said such harsh words, but if he didn't, Lady Qin wouldn't let it go. Sure enough, after Huamin finished speaking, Lady Qin's expression turned ugly. She was so angry that her finger trembled as she pointed at Huamin. How dare you, this vixen, lecture me? You should leave my family, and I don't want to see you. We don't want anything more unpleasant to happen. Yeah, you should leave. I feel bad whenever I see you, Jixin said. Jixin was the one who said this. He had always wondered why his brother-in-law, who was such a good person, had such a weird mother. The neighbors also helped Huamin and pushed Lady Qin out. Maybe it was because her shoes were too high, but when she went out, Lady Qin accidentally slipped and fell. Then she fell to the ground. Chapter 8:11. To Huamin's surprise, the first person to arrive was Song Yisher. Lady Qin didn't immediately call the ambulance. Instead, she called Song Yisher. She was driving a white Audi Q5 and was wearing a coffee-colored long trench coat. Sure. Lady Qin burst into tears when she saw Song Yisher, like a child who had been wronged. What's wrong, Mama Qin? Song Yisher's voice was extremely gentle. Huamin hit me. Lady Qin pointed at Huamin and began to throw a tantrum. Huamin was helpless, but he wasn't surprised by her reaction. Song Yisher looked up at Huamin. Huamin, what's going on? Why did Mama Qin fall here? Song Yisher almost asked. Why did she fall in front of your house? What happened? She fell by accident. It has nothing to do with me or my family. Also, she was the one who came looking for trouble and humiliated my family. This isn't the first time. Hurry up and take her away. My mom doesn't feel well when she sees her. Her blood pressure is going to rise soon. Huamin was implying that Song Yisher should hurry up and take her away. His mom was going crazy when she saw her. I'm not leaving. Even if I die, I'm going to die here. My son will know how evil you are when he sees you. You still want to kill me, you damned uneducated woman. Lady Qin sat on the ground and yelled at Song Yisher. Song Yisher held her arm and said, Mama Qin, I'll take you to the hospital for an X-ray. Your foot is swollen. You can't go on like this. Although Lady Qin was reluctant to leave, Song Yisher insisted on taking her to the hospital and helped her into the car. Before she left, Song Yisher walked up to Huamin and said, I'm sorry, Huamin. Mama Qin has a short temper. Sometimes she acts like a child. I apologize on her behalf for causing trouble to you and Auntie. Then, Song Yisher respectfully bowed to Huamin's mother. No, it has nothing to do with you. You don't have to be so polite. Besides, I'm her daughter-in-law. Huamin couldn't understand why Song Yisher would apologize. What did it have to do with her? There were only two possibilities for her to do this. First, she was really very polite. She apologized for everything, just like the Japanese. Second, she was pretending to be magnanimous. She wanted others to think that she was closer to the Qin family, as if she was Qin Chu's wife. The answer was obvious. Huamin didn't think that a woman who lived in a barbaric country like Italy for a long time would be as humble and willing to apologize as the Japanese. The only possibility was that she was playing tricks to gain everyone's sympathy and affection, as well as her closeness to the Qin family. This woman was really scary. After Song Yisher left, Jing Jixin secretly asked, "Sis, who's that woman? Why does she seem so close to Lady Qin?" Mayor Song's daughter. Apparently, she's Qin Chu's childhood friend. She's the woman Mrs. Qin Chu loves the most. She treats her like her daughter-in-law. Huamin summarized a lot of things in one sentence. Jing Jixin's mouth formed a big "Oh, really? How come I didn't know about it? She just came back. Even I just found out. How would you know?" Huamin smiled. "How can you still smile? She's your #1 love rival. I trust Qin Chu. Okay? Brother-in-law doesn't seem like the type to change his mind, but the problem is, I'm afraid that woman will keep seducing him. You know, most men think with their lower bodies. What if brother-in-law can't control himself?" Jing Jixin was still quite worried. That woman was really pretty, and she was Mayor Song's daughter. She was too competitive. If he can't control himself, then let them be. Huamin smiled. "Really? Sis, are you that kind?" Jixin looked at his sister in disbelief, his face full of disdain. Chapter 8:12. "I'll just chop them into pieces and feed them to the dogs," Huamin added. "Jixin, that's more like my sister." "Huh, what do you think your sister is like? For a bold and powerful woman?" "No, she's a psychopathic murderer," Jixin said, and ran away. "Ha, you little brat, come back here. I promise I won't smash your head in. How dare you call me a psychopathic murderer? Your imagination is off the charts." After Lady Qin left, the atmosphere became much more relaxed. After a few words of persuasion from the neighbors, they all dispersed. "Mian, come here." Huamin walked over and saw that his mother's expression didn't look too good. Although that crazy woman's words today were harsh, she's right. You guys have been married for a while now, so you need to hurry up and get a child. "I know," Huamin pouted and replied. "You work at the hospital, so it's convenient for you to get a checkup. You can do it yourself when you have time. If you're not sick, then ask Qin Chu to do it." Huamin felt awkward. "Just do a checkup. If you're sick, then treat it. If you're not, then even better." "Okay, Mom, I'll do as you say. I'll do it right away. People will talk about you if you don't have a child. That's how normal people are, let alone rich people. That crazy woman came to our house and made a scene. I'm not blaming you. I just want you to have a child. Status is secondary. The main thing is that you're not young anymore. You'll need a child sooner or later." "I understand." Hearing his mother's earnest advice, Huamin nodded and didn't argue with her. "Sis, when are we moving? It's so annoying. If we move, she won't be able to find us. She won't be able to find us even if she comes. Let's do it now. Let's move now."
"Now?
Are you crazy? It's already afternoon." Jing Jixin froze. Then, Huamin contacted the city's largest moving company. 2 trucks and more than a dozen workers arrived. In less than an hour, everything was settled and loaded. Yang Meirong and Jing Jixin kept looking back at the old house that they had lived in for more than 20 years. "Mom, let's go.
We have a new home now."
Jixin held his mother's hand. Yang Meirong wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. "If only your dad was still here, we'd be a family. He was the one who borrowed money to buy this house, all for the sake of giving me a place to live. When I was young, I was vain and thought that marrying into a rich family would be my happiness, but then I met that scumbag, Hu Jinghai. Thank God, I met your dad in the end, and now I have someone to rely on." When she left the old house, Yang Meirong suddenly missed Jing Jixin's father, Jingda. Every time this happened, Huamin would feel very guilty. She had always felt that she was the cause of Uncle Jing's death. "Mom, don't say it, sis will feel bad," Jing Jixin whispered into his mother's ear. Yang Meirong immediately realized that she had said something wrong. She wiped her tears and said, "You're old, so you like to nag. Okay, let's go." Before they left, the neighbors came to see them off. "Sis, you're so lucky to have a good daughter who bought you a big house. Don't forget about us in the future." "I won't. You guys can come over and play cards with me when you have time. Yang Meirong smiled. Of course, of course. Just like that, Huamin drove his mother and Jixin home, with 2 trucks following behind them. It was filled with all of the family's belongings. The truth was, they didn't need to take all of it, but his mother was nostalgic and didn't want to throw away even some of Uncle Jing's belongings. Sky Blessing Court was a gift from Qin Chu. It was decorated very grandly, and he even prepared a vegetable garden for his mother-in-law. By the time they arrived, the sky was already dark. Huamin hired a cleaner to clean up the house, and he and his mother began to organize the scattered clothes. When Qin Chu got off work at GK, he was about to call Huamin. Just then, he received a call from Song Yisher. Qin Chu, I'm at the hospital. Annie was just admitted to the first hospital. Come and see her. Chapter 813. What happened? Why is she in the hospital again? Qin Chu frowned slightly. Qin Chu was getting impatient because his mother kept threatening him with hospitalization. No one would believe the story of the boy who cried wolf. Luckily, it was Song Yisher who called this time. If it was a maid, he would have hung up immediately. Yeah, it's a bit complicated. I'll tell you when you get here. I just took her for an X-ray. The doctor said it's a minor fracture. A minor fracture? Okay. Wait for me, I'll be right there. Qin Chu knew that Song Yisher wouldn't lie, so he didn't think about anything else and drove straight to the hospital. On the way there, he called Huamin and talked to her. Huamin was helping his mother move. He told Huamin to wait for him so they could eat together. Huamin nodded and didn't say much about his mother's fall. He was so busy that he was dizzy. Mom, let's throw away these old clothes. They're so old-fashioned. Who would wear them? Huamin chuckled. These clothes aren't damaged. They're all in good condition. It'd be a shame to throw them away. You guys really don't know how to live, then. Yang Meirong snatched the old clothes from Huamin's hands and put them away like they were treasures. Jixin smiled and said to his sister, Mom is going to keep them as antiques. When we have grandchildren in the future, these things will be worth a lot of money. Ha ha ha. Huamin couldn't stop laughing. What are you guys talking about? Yang Meirong asked curiously. Nothing. Nothing, Mom. You can continue tidying up, haha. Jixin smiled mischievously. Moving from a rundown little yard to a luxurious duplex, it was a bit hard to get used to. Jixin, the brother-in-law of a rich family, finally had a mansion and a sports car. Sis, does this mean that when one person achieves the Tao, his family and friends will also ascend to heaven? Where the hell do you get so many words in one day? Jixin? His mother suddenly called out. What is it, Mom? Now that we've moved, we have a big house. Bring Xiaoyu over for dinner when you're free. It was obvious that Yang Meirong quite liked Huang Yu compared to Lady Qin's mother-in-law. Yang Meirong was much kinder. Okay. Jing Jixin's answer was also vague. At the mention of Huang Yu, Huamin remembered that the issue between Huang Yu and Jixin hadn't been resolved yet. Thus, she quietly pulled him aside. Are you two still like that? It's worse than the past few days. She didn't reply at all. She would occasionally reply to me on WeChat. Jixin smiled bitterly. All right, give me a few days. I'll go over there for a meeting and talk to her again. Forget it, sis, you're right. Love is between two people. If she really has a change of heart, I won't be able to keep her. Jing Jixin seemed to have thought a lot over the past few days. Huamin lovingly patted his head. Don't think too much. Maybe something really happened to her. Okay, it's already like this. There's no point in me thinking too much. Let's just wait. Jixin seemed to have let go of the news of Huang Yu's sudden change in attitude. Qin Chu drove to the hospital. Song Yisher had finished the hospitalization procedures and was walking upstairs with a form in her hand. Yisher, you're here. Song Yisher gently smiled when she saw Qin Chu. How's my mom?
She's fine.
Her bones are just a little dislocated, and there's a slight fracture. How did this happen all of a sudden? Did she slip and fall at home? Qin Chu asked. Not at home. Song Yisher hesitated. Then where is it? Seeing her hesitation, Qin Chu became even more suspicious. Actually, you might not believe me, but it's at Huamin's house. Oh, no, it's Humin's mother's house. Qin Chu was indeed a little surprised. Chapter 8:14. How did she fall over there? Qin Chu asked this question calmly. From what he knew about his mother, it was obvious that she went to Humin's house to cause trouble. This wasn't the first time, I don't know the details, and I don't dare to say anything, but I think Mama Qin went to Humin's mother's house and they got into an argument. There were a lot of people there. You know, it's a residential area filled with neighbors. I don't know what happened, but when Mama Qin left the house, she fell. She insists that Humin pushed her, but I don't think that's believable. Mama Qin is biased against Humin, and I believe that Humin isn't that kind of person. Song Yisher smiled. Actually, the scariest part about her wasn't that she kept insulting others, but that she kept praising them. Qin Chu was in a good mood when he heard Song Yisher defend Humin. This was because he hated it when people slandered Humin. How's she doing right now? She's pretty emotional. When she heard that she had a fracture, she wanted to contact the media and get a lawyer. I persuaded her not to. You should go check on her. Qin Chu nodded and entered the VIP room. Lady Qin was eating a banana. When she saw her son enter, she immediately threw the banana on the floor. Then, she held her injured leg and began to cry. Chu, my leg hurts like hell. Mom, what did you do at Humin's house? Nothing. I actually want to talk to her about something, but they were so mean to me. They even got together with the neighbors to kick me out, especially Humin's brother. He's so uneducated. He kept yelling at me and told me to get lost. Humin also said a lot of mean things. In the end, she was instigated by her mother. She even pushed me. Mom, did Humin push you? Yeah, why not? Mom, I'll ask you one more time. You have to think carefully before you answer. If you lie to me, I'll never forgive you. Technology is very advanced now, and there are surveillance cameras in the civilian district. Upon hearing Qin Chu's words, Lady Qin's expression immediately changed then. He pretended to be silent. Mom, so tell me, did Humin push you? Qin Chu questioned coldly. He really couldn't stand his mother pushing everything onto Humin. There should be a bottom line for slandering, right?
No.
Finally, Lady Qin told the truth. She was really afraid that her lie would be exposed and she would not be forgiven. After all, the relationship between mother and son was already very strained. I knew it wasn't Humin. I've known her for so long. I know what she can and can't do. Then why doesn't she have a child?
Tell me about it.
Lady Qin began to talk about children again. Song Yisher was so embarrassed that she felt awkward. Children depend on fate. It's not something that can happen just because you say so. You can't blame her. It's between the two of them. I think she's just sick and can't have children. Let me tell you, I can't let the Qin family have no descendants. Mom, you're overthinking it. Qin Chu was speechless at his mother's attitude. If she doesn't have children, I won't tolerate her. Lady Qin said, even if she can't have children, I won't abandon her. I'll only recognize Humin. Qin Chu wasn't angry at his mother. He truly felt that way, not far behind them. Song Yisher's eyes darkened. She felt a little uncomfortable. What are you doing? Are you going against me? Qin Chu, do you still recognize me as your mother? Lady Qin screamed. She didn't understand why her son was bewitched by that woman. Chapter 8:15. Mom, as long as you accept Humin, the world will be at peace. Qin Chu said slowly. Lady Qin immediately glared at him. You want me to accept that mistress's daughter? Impossible. She's just a commoner. She's just a commoner. What right does she have to enter our family? You really have bad taste. Lady Qin didn't seem to be willing to back down at all. If that's the case, then I have nothing else to say. You should rest. Then, Qin Chu turned around and left. It was really worrisome to talk nonsense with such a stubborn person like his mother. Stop right there. I'm not done yet. Lady Qin yelled from the room behind him, but Qin Chu didn't stop because of that. Song Yisher, on the other hand, turned around and followed him out. Qin Chu. What's up? Qin Chu turned around, looking as indifferent as ever. Other than Humin, he treated everyone the same way. Mama Qin's foot is injured, so she's in a bad mood. What she said might be a bit harsh, but don't be like her. You know her temper. She's very headstrong. I know. Don't worry about things here. I'll take good care of Mama Chin. Don't worry about the company. Thank you. Chin-Chu looked at Song Yisher with cold eyes as he thanked her. That kind of tone made people feel very alienated. Song Yisher smiled elegantly and said hello to Chin-Chu. Then, she watched him go downstairs. Seeing that his mother was fine, Chin-Chu went downstairs and went straight to his new home at Sky Blessing Court. When he passed by a fireworks store, he bought a bunch of fireworks and put them in the trunk. At Sky Blessing Court. By the time they finished cleaning and packing, it was already 8 o'clock in the evening. Humin was starving, so he lay down on the sofa tiredly. Mom, I'm so hungry. Mom, I'm starving too. Jishin imitated his sister on the other side. I'm going to cook now. You two wait here, Yang Mei-rong said as she headed to the kitchen. Don't cook anymore, it's a waste of time. Let's order food. Humin said as he took out his phone and opened the takeout menu. Then he looked at the houses one by one. Jishin, what do you want to eat? Anything is fine, as long as I can fill my stomach. Jishin was starving as well. Then I'll just order food from a random restaurant nearby. Then, Humin ordered 8 dishes and soup. Then, they started to clean up the dining table and kitchen utensils. When Chin-Chu arrived, the takeout arrived as well. Hubby, you came back just in time for dinner. Humin held onto Chin-Chu's hand and acted like a spoiled child. Jishin, take out the fireworks from my trunk. Fireworks? It's not like we're celebrating Chinese New Year. Why are we setting off fireworks? Humin was confused. Sis, how can you not understand? You're so low. We set off fireworks when we move into a new house. It's not a big deal to celebrate, but it's a big deal to get rid of all the bad luck. It's a tradition here. Fine, you win. Jing Jishin. Humin didn't know about this tradition, but it seemed like Chin-Chu and Jishin both knew about it. Jishin took down the fireworks and placed them in front of the yard. After Chin-Chu lit them up, the three of them walked to the door. They watched as the colorful fireworks flew into the air, looking extremely beautiful in the night sky. Humin leaned on Chin-Chu's shoulder. Hubby, won't the property management yell at us for setting off fireworks in such a high-profile manner? We're all GK's properties. Who would dare yell at? Chin-Chu chuckled. You guys are so capricious. It's great to own your own property. Humin smiled. Then, the three of them sat around the table and began to eat. It's too late today. I'm planning to invite Lingling and Gao Ren over this weekend to cook for us. Humin said as he ate. Sure, we're all free this weekend. Chin-Chu nodded. During dinner, Yang Mei-rong suddenly remembered something and said, Chin-Chu, your mom went over to our old house today. Mom, why are you telling brother-in-law this? Jing Jishin didn't think it was appropriate, as if she was complaining. Chapter 8:16. Chin-Chu only raised his head and listened quietly. Your mother is such a bitch. It's okay that she came to my house to cause trouble. I'm used to her behavior. But can you not talk about Mion like that in front of the neighbors? You're poking at her sore spot. No matter how strong she is, she's still a girl. Your mom's words are like knives, stabbing people's hearts. Auntie, what did my mom say to Mion? Chin-Chu looked at Yang Mei-rong and asked, Mom, let bygones be bygones. Why bring her up? Humin didn't want his mother to say anything. After all, she didn't want to put Chin-Chu in a difficult position. No matter what, she was still Chin-Chu's mother. If she said anything, it would only make him feel bad. Why don't you say anything? It's fine if I'm wronged, but you're so young. How long are you going to have to listen to her? Then, Yang Mei-rong looked at Chin-Chu and said, Your mom said that Mion is a chicken that can't lay eggs. If she can't give birth, then she should get out of the Chin family. The Chin family can't tolerate a daughter-in-law who can't give birth. After Yang Mei-rong finished speaking, Chin-Chu's eyes darkened. Even he felt hurt when he heard those words, let alone Humin. What did she mean by a chicken that can't lay eggs? It was a blatant insult. Why didn't you tell me? Chin-Chu looked at Humin with heartache. Even if I told you, it would only make you feel worse. Anyway, I didn't take it to heart. Humin looked down and ate quietly. Yang Meirong put down her bowl and slammed the table, saying angrily, Qin Chu, look at what your mom said. Is that something a mother-in-law should say to her daughter-in-law? Mian is also worried that she can't give birth to a child. Plus, you might not like what I'm going to say. You two don't have children, so what's going on? Maybe my Mian is the one who's sick. Maybe it's you? Am I right? You can't let Mian take the blame for something that happened between the two of you. Mom? Humin looked at his mother awkwardly. Mom, you're being too harsh, Jing Jixin kindly reminded her. Qin Chu nodded sincerely. Auntie, you're right. That's true. So, I suggest that the two of you get a checkup when you're free. Whoever has the problem, get it treated. Don't let your mother find fault with us again. I know. Qin Chu nodded. Faced with Mian was angry at him. He didn't seem to be angry at all. After the meal was over, because it was close, Mian was because Mian. In the car, Qin Chu held the steering wheel with one hand and held Mian's hand tightly with the other. Honey, I'm sorry for what happened today. Of course not. I was actually very barbaric when I fought with your mother. But I'm quite sorry that she fell down. Is she okay?
He's fine.
He's just slightly injured. He's still recuperating in the hospital. I hope she won't come back again. She always makes us unhappy. Since we don't like each other, I think it's better if we don't see each other. Humin muttered softly, I will definitely make my mother accept you, not you accepting her. Qin Chu made up his mind. Humin was actually very powerful, but he cared about Qin Chu, so he didn't want to argue with Lady Qin. However, she always took advantage of her seniority. Because of this, she always thought that Humin was easy to bully and kept bullying him. Qin Chu saw everything and naturally knew that his wife had been wronged. His heart ached for her. After hearing what Qin Chu said, Humin was slightly touched. Back at South Hill Manor, after Humin went to take a shower, Qin Chu's phone suddenly rang. He looked at the caller ID and saw that it was Jixin. Qin Chu picked up the phone. Brother-in-law, are you free to talk? Chapter 8:17. Sure. Where's my sister? She's taking a shower. That's great. I want to talk to you in private. Okay. Brother-in-law, other than your mother, there was also a beautiful woman who came to my house to cause trouble. She's called Shir, something I've never seen before, but it seems like she's really close to your mother. My sister said that she's your childhood friend, but I'm not sure if she was joking or not. But I want to say, since you married my sister and chose her to be your life partner, then please don't hurt her, okay? She really cares about you, and I've never seen her so happy in all these years. Ever since you came back to China and got together with her, I've always seen her smile so brightly. It's a smile that she hasn't had in the past 7 years. I really want her to be happy forever. So, Big Brother Qin Chu, promise me? No matter who it is, don't give them a chance to get in between you two, okay? My sister isn't the prettiest girl, nor is she the smartest girl, nor is she the daughter of a rich family. She doesn't even have a high education, but I believe that no one in this world will love you more than my sister does. She's such a stubborn person, and once she sets her mind on someone, she'll be with him forever. It's not something that can be done with words. Jixin, I understand. Hearing his brother-in-law's words, Qin Chu nodded. My sister's been through a lot these past few years. She loves me and my mother, and she's been through everything by herself. She's never complained about it, and my heart aches for her. Now that she's living a happy life, I really don't want it to be ruined. I understand. Brother-in-law, you're a smart person, and I'm sure you understand what I mean. Anyways, I'll leave my sister in your care, and I hope that you'll treat her well. Of course. Qin Chu thought that Jixin's words were quite sharp sometimes. Although Jixin didn't say it explicitly, his meaning was clear. He was warning Qin Chu not to find a third party. Especially that Song Yisher, who was so beautiful that she looked like Qi Ling's sister, made Hua Xiqian feel a sense of crisis. Even an innocent child like Jixin felt a sense of crisis for his sister. When she hung up, Humin happened to walk out of the bathroom. Who's calling? You chatted for so long? It's a secret. Qin Chu smirked. All right, Since Mr. Chin already has a secret, I'll have to keep my own secret. I can keep secrets, but you can't, Chin Chu said proudly. Why? Huamin was clearly unconvinced. Based on the fact that I'm the one who gets the most points every time. After saying this, Chin Chu threw his phone aside and pushed Huamin down onto the spacious bed.
Ah.
I haven't dried my hair yet. Hurry up and move away, or you'll wet the sheets. It's healthier to be wet. Chin Chu smiled gently. Huamin only felt that his cheeks were as red as a furnace. Every time Mr. Chin spoke, he would make her blush and her heart race. After their lovemaking, Mr. Chin fell asleep. Exhausted, Huamin, on the other hand, didn't feel sleepy anymore and was much more energetic. She quietly got out of bed and ran to the bathroom. She didn't know when a transparent tube had appeared in her hand. Then, she spent a lot of effort to get the remaining sperm that Mr. Chin left in her body into the tube. The next morning, after arriving at Southside, Huamin went straight to the Reproductive Health Center. Morning, Dr. Hua. His colleagues greeted him with a smile. Morning, ahem. Can you check the sperm survival rate for me? Huamin handed over the tube in his hand and said awkwardly. Chapter 8:18. Oh, okay. Knowing that it was a private matter, the woman didn't dare to ask. She took the things in and came out 10 minutes later with a report. Dr. Hua, the results are out. Take a look. Huamin immediately took the report. Seeing that it was normal, he let out a sigh of relief. Mr. Chin must have been too embarrassed to come, so he decided to be a good guy and secretly check for him. If Mr. Chin was fine, then she was the one with the problem. Thinking of this, Huamin felt a bit depressed. Dr. Hua, is this your relative? Yes. Oh, it's fine. There are a lot of couples without children these days, and half of them have problems with the woman. Gynecological diseases are very common nowadays, and a lot of women don't care about themselves and get abortions. This leads to habitual abortions or blocked fallopian tubes. Yes. Huamin forced a smile. After going downstairs, Huamin decided to go to the gynecologist for a full checkup. After all, if there really was something wrong with her, then she should get treatment as soon as possible. Although she didn't care about what Lady Chin said, she couldn't be without children. Chin Chu didn't care if she was pregnant or not, but she could tell that he wanted to be a father. Plus, when a woman loved a man deeply, she would want to give birth to his child. That would be the fruit of their love. Last year, Huamin watched a TV show, and there was a scene in it that he remembered very clearly. The man had a woman he loved, but he married someone else because of his career. In the end, the woman miscarried out of sadness, and the man was very, very sad. Later, his wife also got pregnant, but the man didn't have any reaction. The wife asked, "Don't you love children? Why aren't you happy that I'm pregnant?" The man calmly replied, "It's not that I don't love children. I just don't love you." The woman suddenly realized that he was sad because of the miscarriage, not because he loved the child, but because he loved the child's mother. Huamin felt that Chin Chu doted on her so much. If she gave birth to a child, Chin Chu would love it to death, right? Huamin then went to the ICU to see Shuai Shuai. Today was the day of Shuai Shuai's surgery, which was held at the south side. There was a doctor from the district, a chief physician from the first hospital, and 3 assistants. President Wu seemed to be very concerned about this matter. He even called in the morning to ask about it. "Sister, I'm so scared. Will it hurt?" Before the operation, Shuai Shuai looked at Huamin timidly. "Don't be afraid. It doesn't hurt. Shuai Shuai just needs to sleep. The uncles will give Shuai Shuai an injection first, just a little, then Shuai 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 will go to sleep. After he wakes up, Shuai 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 will recover." Really? Is it only as painful as an injection? Yes, I didn't lie to you, so don't be afraid. He encouraged Shuai Shuai again and sent him into the operating theater. Huamin and Xiaowan were waiting outside the operating theater. Seeing Xiaowan's nervous expression, Huamin comforted her. "Don't worry, this type of surgery isn't difficult. Our doctors are all very authoritative, so there won't be any mistakes." Okay. Shuai Shuai is also heavily anesthetized, so he won't feel any pain, Huamin added.
Okay.
Xiaoan nodded. After days of anticipation, the day of the surgery was finally here. You haven't contacted an Aiyang lately, right? Huamin looked at her and asked. Chapter 819.
No.
At the mention of an Aiyang, Xiaoan lowered her head in shame. An Aiyang is very outstanding. Through his own efforts, he gained a group of fans. When he was a trainee in South Korea, he practiced dance even though he broke bones several times, performed even when he had a fever, and even went on variety shows. It's really hard to live alone in a place where people don't speak the language. Luckily, his efforts haven't been in vain. To be honest, I think an Aiyang should be a very sunny boy. He deserves more love. Xiaowan licked her lips, as if she didn't know what to say. When it came to an Aiyang, she really didn't care much. In fact, she never cared at all because she gave all her energy to Shuai Shuai. To be honest, don't blame an Aiyang for hating you. If it were me, I would also hate the heavens for being unfair. They're both your sons. You carried them in your womb for 10 months. Why are their lives so different? Although Shuai Shuai's health isn't good, he still has all your love. As for an Aiyang, no matter how much money he has, it can't make up for the emptiness in his materialistic life. Maybe you don't know how sad it is for him to live alone in a mansion that's a few hundred square meters, or how lonely he is for people to eat alone, or how lonely he is for people to share his loneliness after receiving awards. Celebrities are also people. Once they lose their celebrity aura, they're actually more fragile than ordinary people, and they need more care. An Aiyang is still just a child who grew up alone and didn't receive any attention. When Humin said all this, Xiaowan couldn't take it anymore in the end. She just squatted on the ground and cried. Yeah, he's also my son. Why would I treat him like that? Why? Xiaowan muttered to herself. Humin took out his phone from the pocket of his white lab coat and opened a video website. Today, he's holding a concert in a city for 100,000 people. It's live on the internet, take a look. As he spoke, Huamin handed the phone to her. Xiaowan trembled as she took the phone and looked at the big boy in the middle of the stage. He didn't dress as flashily as the other celebrities, nor did he wear exaggerated makeup that would attract attention. Just so quietly, he put on a little black jacket and jeans, and then sat on a bar stool. He sat there quietly with a microphone in one hand. All the lights around him dimmed, and only one beam of light shone on his body. The 100,000 people in the audience held their breaths. This was the last song of an Aiyang's concert. Apparently, it was an original song that had never been released. This song is called Lonely Bird. Then the music. I saw a little bird flying alone. I asked where it's home. It didn't know what to do. It thinks its target is somewhere far away. But it didn't know that one day, even if no one there, but it must be strong. Not everyone was born with the light of a mother's love. It was just a child who was hurt. When she was in extreme pain, she would lick her feathers alone in sorrow. It's just an orphan forgotten by God. No one clap of people of times it doesn't know how long it can last. When they were tired from flying, they would stop and feel sad. Of an Aiyang, of heaven, song of death, unable to write a new chapter. Lonely bird, you can do whatever you want. No one will care about your melodious voice. Lonely bird, your heart has long since been desolate. Let's fly together. Fly to the place that belongs to the two of us. After singing the last line of the song, an Aiyang slowly opened his eyes. In those extremely beautiful eyes, there were a few glistening teardrops. After 10 seconds of silence, the audience burst into thunderous applause. An Aiyang, I love you. Go for it, an Aiyang. An Aiyang, you're the best. The sun will always be by your side. This was the slogan of the fans. An Aiyang's fans were collectively called the Sun. They were a group of girls with dreams. To be honest, this was the first time Huamin heard the song, but his heart was once again shaken. His lyrics were simple, but the melody was sad. The people who sang seemed to be able to feel his unparalleled sadness. Xiaowan held her phone, tears streaming down her face. Her son was already standing on the stage in front of 100,000 people, but he was still so unhappy. If time could turn back, would you still abandon an Aiyang? Huamin asked softly. Chapter 820. If I said, I won't do it again, would you believe me? Xiaowan raised her head. The crow's feet at the corners of her eyes were stained with tears. She was actually quite young, but because she had been through so much over the years, she appeared very old. She dressed poorly, ate poorly, and lived a miserable life, all for the sake of her youngest son. It would be a lie to say that she was heartless. It was just that Yang was unlucky. After Shuai's surgery, if he recovers, I will help you contact the local school and send him to school. As for you, you should also take some time to take care of Yang. Although he's grown up, his heart is still very fragile. If his depression relapses, he will have suicidal tendencies at any time. If you still have a mother's conscience, I hope you can treat him well.
Okay.
Xiaowan wasn't a sweet talker, so in the face of Huamin's words, she nodded her head in agreement. Huamin was quite good at reading people. She believed that Huamin's promise to her was no longer just a condition. In order to treat Shuai's illness, she truly felt guilty towards Yang and wanted to make it up to him. 3 hours later, the door to the operating room opened. How did it go? Huamin walked up and asked the chief surgeon. It was very successful. He was sent to the ICU for 24 hours of observation and there were no problems. Afterward, he has to stay in the ICU for about half a month to see if there are any signs of rejection. Okay, thank you for your hard work. Huamin and the other doctors nodded their heads and thanked them one by one. They all knew that she cared a lot about this child, so they all did their best. Shuai was then pushed into the ICU. The surgery was very successful. Now we just have to wait for the anesthesia to wear off, and he will wake up. Don't worry, Huamin said slowly as he comforted Xiaowan. Xiaowan looked at her youngest son through the glass and immediately let out a sigh of relief. It was as if a huge rock that had been weighing on her heart for many years had finally been lifted. She suddenly felt very relaxed. At this moment, she did something unexpected. She turned around, faced Huamin, and knelt down with a thump. Big sister Xia, what are you doing? Huamin was shocked. Without waiting for Huamin to speak, she kowtowed 3 times to Huamin. Then she quickly got up and said, I'm a dumb person. I've never been to school, and I'm uncultured. I don't know what to say, but I'm very grateful to you. You saved Shuai's life. You're our benefactor. Sister Xia, I'm not as noble as you make me out to be. I have a condition for saving Shuai. I'm Yang. Huamin had never thought of himself as great, nor was he as enlightened as the Holy Mother. He would not immediately take care of a pitiful person, as if he was afraid that others would not know that he was a philanthropist. She did like Shuai because of Yang when GK was in a stalemate, and Yang gave up on Imperial Star and signed with GK. This incident was enough to engrave it in her heart. Therefore, she really wanted to help Yang untie the knot in his heart. After she found Xiaowan and saw what happened, she couldn't just ignore it. However, she didn't do it to be a good person, that was for sure. I know, even if you did it for Yang's sake, I'm still grateful. Whether it's Yang or Shuai, they're both my sons. You help my sons, so you're my benefactor. I know you're rich and don't care about money. You don't have much use for me, but I want to say if I can't repay your kindness in this life, then in my next life, oh, okay, don't be a cow or a horse. Even TV dramas don't use these lines anymore, so stop saying them. Anyways, you can rest assured that Shuai is fine. You guys can stay in the hospital for now. Call me if you need anything. After he spoke, Huamin turned around and left. Xiaowan looked at Huamin's back and was very grateful. Sometimes, a person inadvertently appeared in one's life and changed one's tragic life. This saying was absolutely true when applied to Xiaowan, outside Southside's gynecology department. Hey, Dr. Huor? The gynecologists all greeted him. Huamin was promoted from head nurse to neurologist and got a perfect score on his exam. This news had spread all over Southside. Huamin was now a godlike existence at Southside. Ahem, I want to get my body checked. What do you want to check? One of the doctors asked curiously. Chapter 821. This time, Humin felt even more awkward. She really couldn't bring herself to say it in front of 3 or 4 gynecologists. Is it a gynecological disease? Seeing that she was embarrassed to speak, one of the doctors asked straightforwardly. Humin quickly waved her hand. No, no. Then are you pregnant? Another doctor asked, knowing that Humin was married. Humin gritted her teeth and said directly, Actually, I wanted to get checked because I haven't been pregnant since I got married. Infertility? Humin, Dr. Hua, come in first. Seeing how awkward Humin was, a doctor led her in. How long have you been married? More than half a year. We got our marriage certificate in April. It's almost November now, Humin replied. So short? That's fine. Under normal circumstances, we only diagnose infertility if you've been married for more than 1.5 to 2 years. But I'm not sure, so I wanted to get checked, haha. What about your husband? He needs to be checked as well. You can't be the only one. My husband has been checked, he's fine. I suspect it's my problem. Humin slowly said. Oh, I see. Okay then, let's do a basic gynecological examination to see if your gynecological disease is serious. Then, we'll do a blood test to see the value of your uterus and your fallopian tubes. That one will hurt a little, are you okay? No problem. Humin nodded. Just like that, Humin asked for a few hours off from Director Li and did a detailed examination in the gynecology department of the hospital. The final result was that there was no gynecological disease, it was clean. There was no problem with the blood test either, it was normal. The fallopian tubes were a little painful, and they couldn't use anesthetics. Humin endured the pain and did it. The results were normal, both fallopian tubes were unobstructed. Dr. Hua, there's nothing wrong with you. Everything is normal. Finally, the gynecologist did an ultrasound to check the condition of her uterus. How is it, Dr. Liu? He asked the slightly older and experienced Dr. Liu. She was a woman in her 40s and was a very nice person. The posterior position of the uterus. This is a little more difficult than the anterior position of the uterus. So, I suggest that you put a pillow under your buttocks when you have sex in the future. This will help you get pregnant. Humin. Also, there's some blood clot in your uterus. It's a cold uterus. It's not easy for you to get pregnant, but it's not a big problem. You'd better take some Chinese medicine to recuperate. Alright, I got it. Humin nodded and walked out of the gynecology department with a heavy heart. When she was in university, she used cold water to wash her clothes in the winter. Humin was a northerner. Every winter in Sea City, the lowest temperature was minus 20 degrees Celsius. It wasn't convenient to boil water in school, so she might have caught a cold after using cold water for a long time. But as long as it wasn't too serious, it wouldn't be a problem. After the fallopian tubes were flushed, her entire lower abdomen was swollen and painful. Humin walked very slowly. She took the test report and slowly returned to her office. She didn't look well either. It wasn't easy for a woman to get pregnant. With the increasing use of chemical pesticides on fruits and vegetables, many couples didn't have babies. Some even wanted to try IVF. The only place in the city that could do IVF was Southside Recuperation Center. The price was as high as 100,000 yuan. It was said that the success rate was 55%, which was already very high. Humin once took care of an IVF mother when she worked in the OB/GYN department at the first hospital. It was really tough. She had transplanted 3 embryos and 2 of them survived. In the end, she gave birth prematurely at 7 months and gave birth to a pair of twins. The babies were very small and pitiful. They stayed in the incubator for a full month. If you don't raise your own child, you won't know how much your parents love you. Many women love their mothers even more after they become mothers. Qin Chu got off work early today, so he drove over to pick up Humin. Then he noticed that his wife didn't look well, and she sounded a little weak. What's wrong? Are you not feeling well? Qin Chu looked at Humin's side profile and asked. No. Humin forced a smile. There was still a faint pain in her lower abdomen. Impossible. She couldn't hide anything from Qin Chu. He knew her too well. Tell me what's wrong. Qin Chu's tone was domineering. Chapter 8:22. Haha, it's actually nothing. Oh right, I have good news for you, we're both fine. Chu. You don't believe me? Really? I'll tell you, but don't yell at me. I secretly hid your thing yesterday and want to test its survival rate today. Chu. The results showed that you're fine, huh? I did a full body checkup myself, and there's nothing wrong with me. The doctor said that my body is cold, so I have to pay attention to warming my womb. I'll be fine after taking some Chinese medicine. I'll have a baby soon. What kind of checkup did you do? Chu asked. It's those messy examinations. What did they say? Chu was also a medical student, so he wouldn't be so easily brushed off by Humin. You wouldn't understand even if I told you. I did an ultrasound, a basic gynecological examination, a routine blood test, and tubal drainage. Tubal drainage? Humin, are you crazy? Chu slammed on the brakes and stopped the car on the side of the road. Humin was shocked. It's just a small checkup. Why are you so nervous? Humin said guiltily. You think I don't know anything, don't you? Chu looked at her coldly. Humin lowered her head guiltily. Tubal drainage. Why did you do it? Don't you know how painful it is? You can't even use anesthetics, and it's considered a minimally invasive procedure. How could you do it? Are you crazy? This was the first time Chu had spoken so loudly to Humin. Chu understood the theory behind this checkup. The fallopian tubes were two tubes next to the uterus. They were used to send sperm and eggs together to achieve fertility. If these two tubes were blocked, the woman wouldn't be able to get pregnant. Some people had one-sided blockages, so their chances of getting pregnant were lower. The fallopian tube is to use two thin tubes to connect to the fallopian tube and then draw water into it to see if the water is circulating inside. If the water is flowing, it proves that there is no blockage. If it is not flowing, it means that there is a blockage. This was a rather cruel method because they couldn't use anesthetics. They could only watch helplessly as the pain was excruciating. It was better if it worked, but it was said that those who didn't work would suffer a fate worse than death every time they drew water in. Even for someone like Humin, who had an unobstructed flow, his lower abdomen still hurt after the water was drained. The pain was 10 times more intense than menstrual cramps. When she was on her period, Chu was angry because Humin had humiliated himself. Under normal circumstances, no one would be willing to do such a perverted examination unless they had no other choice. Honey, don't be so agitated. I'm really fine. Humin explained in a low voice. You never discuss anything with me, right? Chu asked coldly. No, I just don't think it's a good idea to ask about something as trivial as the gynecology department. You're so busy every day. Your matters have never been a small matter to me, but you actually don't understand. Chu laughed self-deprecatingly, but I'm doing this for our future children. If you have to suffer, then I'd rather not have children for the rest of my life. You're enough for me. Honey, Humin could tell that Chu was angry, so she immediately tried to comfort him. Chu didn't say anything and turned his head away. Honey, I like babies. I really want a baby of our own. But you can't go through all this on your own, Chu insisted. Okay, I won't do it in the future. You want a future? Chu was furious. No, that's not what I meant. I'm saying that I'll listen to you from now on. After Chu drove Humin back to her mother's home at Sky Blessing Court, Chu drove away. He didn't seem to be in a good mood. Honey, you need to go out. I have something to do. I'll pick you up later. Okay. Why did brother-in-law leave? Jing Jixin was curious that Chu didn't stay for dinner. He seems to be mad at me. Humin pouted. I'm curious. What could make someone as mild-tempered as brother-in-law angry? Did you find a mistress? Jing Jixin looked at his sister and asked jokingly. Chapter 8:23. Jing Jixin, I'm going to slap you in the face. Humin looked at his little brother in frustration. How dare he accuse her of cheating on him? Hurrah. I'm just kidding. Don't get so worked up. Forget it. You're just a kid. You wouldn't understand even if I told you. Humin carefully walked to the sofa in the living room and sat down. At that moment, his mother walked out of the kitchen and prepared a bowl of sweet soup for Humin. Mom, we're done with the checkup. We're fine. You don't have to worry about us. Huamin said as he held onto the bowl of soup. Did you get the checkup today? Yang Meirong was very happy. Huamin nodded. Yeah, my body is a little cold, so they said that I'll be fine after taking some Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine, that's easy. Your Annie Wu and I used to go to a Chinese medicine doctor. It's passed down from generation to generation. They're really good. All 3 generations of their family are Chinese medicine doctors, and the oldest one is 80 years old. They're really good at reading pulses. I heard that they can tell the gender of a 2-month pregnant woman. Mom, what day and age are we living in? You still believe in that? Huamin couldn't help but laugh. It's true. I've been there already. Your Auntie Wu's myocardial ischemia was cured there. Anyway, don't worry. I'll go get you some Chinese medicine when you get some rest. Mom, I'm a doctor too. If you have a cold womb, you can just eat some brown sugar, longan, and lotus seeds. It's called diet therapy. I don't want to eat Chinese medicine right now. It tastes awful. Haha. Even if it tastes awful, you still have to eat it. It's a deal then. Before Huamin could say anything, her mother already made the decision for her. Qin Shu drove straight to Seductive Fox. The truth was, he was going to eat with Huamin before going to find Rick. However, his wife's methods were truly infuriating. She actually did such a cruel checkup on Huamin's fallopian tubes. Looking at her weak and pale face, Qin Shu's heart ached. He didn't want to stay by her side for a second longer, so he decided to talk to Rick about it. Qin Shu's Maybach was parked downstairs. He was seen by Tang Chuan, Su Yu, and the others who came to drink. Ever since Wei Liao got together with Zhang Xiaowei, Wei Liao's upbringing was very strict. Wei Liao basically didn't participate in this kind of eating, drinking, and fooling around. Su Yu rarely came out. This time, it was Tang Chuan who came back from abroad and brought a few friends over to have some fun. It seems to be Qin Shu's car. Hearing Tang Chuan's words, Su Yu glanced at the Maybach, but did not react. So he likes this kind of place too. Ha! I thought he was some kind of gentleman. Next time I see Huamin, I'm going to tell on him. I'm going to show her that her husband would go to this kind of place behind her back. Qin Shu has a close relationship with the boss of Seductive Fox.
Don't worry about it.
They're probably here to talk business. Su Yu said word by word. Bullshit. What kind of business can they talk about here? They're obviously here to drink and drink. Tang Chuan smiled. He went to a private room on the top floor with Su Yu and the others. Qin Shu sat in the VIP lounge and drank tea with Rick. Although Rick was of mixed French and Chinese descent, he had been here for many years and was very knowledgeable about China. She liked eating Chinese food and drinking tea. She also spoke Chinese very well. She could even understand idioms like baring fangs and brandishing claws. Rick, you don't have to look into it anymore. What's wrong? Rick looked at Qin Shu. I'll look into it myself. It's too dangerous for you guys to look into it. Then isn't it more dangerous for you to look into it yourself? Rick asked. Chapter 8:24. No, if there was, we wouldn't have been able to escape unscathed last time. Qin Shu sipped his tea and said slowly. Rick froze slightly. Then he looked at Qin Shu and said, You mean they didn't do anything because it was you guys? That's probably it. I don't know if they were worried about Mian or me. I also don't know why they stopped us from investigating the truth. This is too weird. Even the local gangsters don't want me to do anything. I don't think it's that simple either. This case involves a lot of things, including Mian's birth, the fire at the hospital, and Uncle Yang's death. It's all very strange. Plus, this is a case from many years ago, and a lot of people are involved. So I've decided that even if your people go, they'll just die. They won't be able to find anything, so I might as well do it myself. But it's still very dangerous. Rick was a bit worried. No matter what, I have to help Mian find her family. But what if her family doesn't want to find her? What should we do? Have you thought about it? Rick's words stunned Qin Shu. Yeah, they had ignored this problem. Huamin really wanted to find her biological parents. But what if her parents didn't want to find her at all? Then, what was the point of finding them? What if they were a selfish person like Hua Zhenghai? Wouldn't that break Huamin's heart? Let's leave it at that for now. Qin Shu was a bit tired, so he leaned back on the sofa and closed his eyes. Qin, you're different from when you were in the States. You're different. How am I different? Chin Chu didn't open his eyes. Back in the States, you were cold and heartless. My brother said that you were born to be a killer. You had no flaws, but now I realize that you have too many flaws. One Huamin is enough to kill you 100 times over. Rick was right. If anyone wanted to deal with Chin Chu, they could just capture Huamin. There's nothing wrong with having flaws, Chin Chu slowly said. Your eyes are filled with undetectable emotions, especially when Huamin is by your side. It seems like you really love her. Huamin is my life. Without her, I can't live. Rick knew what Chin Chu meant. Huamin was Chin Chu's life support. Without Huamin, Chin Chu's life. Actually, this is pretty good. Sometimes I envy you. Rick smiled. You to meet someone like that. Don't. In my line of work, it's all about fighting and killing. I can lose my life at any moment. If I meet such a person, I'll only risk my life with him. SSSSSS2. TSS to gives.
That's.
After speaking, Rick and Chin Chu looked at each other and smiled. When Chin Chu left Seductive Fox, he was going to pick up Huamin from Sky Blessing Court. However, to his surprise, he received a call from Song Yisher. What's up? Mama Chin can be discharged. She said she's bored here and wants to go home. Can you come visit her? Song Yisher almost said, she's your mom, not mine. Shouldn't you come visit her? Okay. After replying with 3 simple words, Chin Chu drove to the first hospital. Song Yisher had already finished the discharge procedures. Sure paid for everything. I told her to use my card, but she wouldn't. Chu, you have to thank Sure. Lady Chin was smart today. Instead of scolding Huamin, she told Chin Chu to focus on Song Yisher. How much is it? I'll transfer it to you right now. Chin Chu took out his phone. It's okay. Mrs. Chin treats me so well. This small amount of money is nothing. Of course, Song Yisher wouldn't accept it. Send me your bank account number. I don't like owing people favors. Chin Chu said faintly. Song Yisher was slightly taken aback. Chu, how can you say that? Sure isn't an outsider. Lady Chin was clearly unhappy with her son's coldness. It's okay, Mama Chin, I don't mind. Song Yisher smiled gently. Bank account. Chin Chu looked at her and repeated. Do we really have to be like this? Song Yisher was a little disappointed. Chapter 8:25. Chin Chu didn't say anything, however. His aura did make her feel pressured in the end. Upon seeing Chin Chu's insistence, Song Yisher had no choice but to send her bank account number to Chin Chu. How much did you spend? Less than 80,000 yuan, Song Yisher said in a low voice. 10 seconds later, there was a ding. Song Yisher received a bank notification on her cell phone. Why did you give me so much? Song Yisher looked up at Chin Chu when she saw the 100,000 yuan transfer. Thank you for taking care of me for the past few days. So, is the extra money a service fee? Song Yisher smiled bitterly. Chin Chu remained silent. Sure, since Chu is giving it to you, you should take it. Just think of it as a gift from him. It'd be a waste not to take it. Lady Chin tried to smooth things over. Let's go. Chin Chu picked up his mother and carefully placed her in the wheelchair. Then, the 3 of them went downstairs together. When they arrived at the Chin manor, the maids began preparing dinner. However, Chin Chu stood up to leave. Son, aren't you going to eat? Lady Chin yelled. No, I'm going to pick Mian up. Lady Chin's face immediately darkened upon hearing the words Huamin. Song Yisher, on the other hand, stood up and said, I'll drive you home. I have something to talk to you about. Okay. Chin Chu nodded and walked out the door with Song Yisher following behind him. I didn't take good care of Huamin at the party that day. I'm sorry that he got hurt. That's not your fault. My 2 friends were a little arrogant. They didn't mean to pick on Huamin. There might have been some misunderstanding, but they did accidentally hurt Huamin. I sincerely apologize to Huamin on their behalf. It's all in the past. Don't mention it. Chin Chu rarely spoke nonsense, especially to people who had nothing to do with him. Is there anything else? Chin Chu looked at his watch. It was getting late. He still missed Huamin. Also, the other day, don't think too much about what I said. I heard it from someone else. Su Yu's reaction was a little too big. After the incident, he deliberately hit my friend's car. Everyone knows about it. I'm not trying to complain or anything. I just want to say that gossip is a fearful thing. You are all public figures, so you should be careful. You can tell Huamin not to meet Su Yu in the future, in case people start gossiping. Thank you for your advice. Qin Chu's tone was still indifferent. Then there's no problem. I believe those are just rumors. There's nothing going on between Su Yu and Huamin. They don't know each other that well, Qin Chu replied. Then he turned around and got into his car. He didn't want to waste time talking to Song Yisher. Song Yisher watched as the Maybach drove off into the distance. Her eyes sparkled with a strange light. She really wanted to see how long Qin Chu and Huamian's so-called unbreakable love could last when all the rumors were flying around. Back in the living room of the Qin manor, Lady Qin immediately complained. Sure, you're too nice. Why didn't you say a few words and ask Chu to stay for dinner? He's busy. You're too sensible. You're such a silly child. You're not even 1/10 as scheming as Huamin. It's good to live a simple life. It's so tiring to be scheming all the time. After all, no one can live with a mask forever. You're right. I want to see how long Huamin, that little bitch, can keep up the pretense. Lady Qin said fiercely. Song Yisher only smiled slightly and didn't say anything. Ever since she came back to China, she didn't spend as much time at home as she did at the Qin manor. Lady Qin, this lonely old lady, had already made her the center of attention in her life. When Qin Chu arrived at Sky Blessing Court, he saw Huamin sleeping on the sofa. As soon as he walked in, she looked like a little kitten. His gaze instantly softened. Brother-in-law, you're finally here. Hurry and take my sister away. I told her to sleep in the bedroom, but she refused. She said she wanted to wait for you here. Qin Chu nodded. Then he walked over and carefully picked up Huamin. Honey, you're here? Huamin asked as she rubbed her sleepy eyes and looked at Qin Chu. Chapter 8:26. Qin Chu didn't say anything. Instead, he carefully placed her on the passenger seat. Then he put on the seatbelt for her. When they were closest to each other, Huamin closed her eyes and smelled Qin Chu's unique scent. She even impulsively licked his lips. Yes, please note that it wasn't a kiss or a bite. It was a lick. Mr. Qin's body trembled, and he didn't dare to move. Even his hand that was holding onto the seatbelt paused. Honey, why do you smell so good today? Huamin smiled. Qin Chu. He ignored her and got into the driver's seat. Then he started the car and drove away. Honey, I haven't eaten yet. I'm so hungry. Huamin continued to pretend to be pitiful to gain sympathy because this method had always worked on Qin Chu. Then you can starve. Honey, even your husband can't save you, Huamin. Aren't you very powerful? The most invincible Huamin in the universe. How can you be so cruel to yourself? Qin Chu said coldly. As expected, he was still holding a grudge over that incident. Mr. Qin, don't be angry. I'm the one who's in pain, not you. Huamin was confused. He was the one who had his fallopian tube drained, so he was the one who was in pain. Why was Qin Chu so agitated? After he said this, Mr. Qin's face turned even darker. Honey, my stomach hurts. You asked for it. Honey, my stomach hurts from hunger. You deserve it. Honey, I'm going to die. Then I'll take you to the funeral home right now, Qin Chu said in all seriousness. Qin Chu, are you even human? There's still a year left before we get married. You're so heartless that you want to cremate me? You're a psycho. Huamin was finally angry. Qin Chu raised the corner of his mouth when he saw her irritable look. Catching sight of that smile, Huamin immediately asked excitedly, Hubby, you're not angry anymore? Angry? That's impossible. You even laughed. Huh. Huamin leaned against Qin Chu's palm and began to act like a spoiled child. Qin Chu really couldn't bear to scold her anymore. He parked the car at a kanji shop by the roadside. After having some supper with Huamin, the two of them finally went home. Next day at noon, Huamin received a call from Immerse, just as he was about to head to the restaurant for dinner. Huamin, are you free? I'm free. I'll wait for you at the Korean barbecue restaurant on Shinmin Street. Then Mo Schweber hung up the phone. Huamin was depressed. Eating with a celebrity like Mo Schweber was really bad. If word got out, he would be surrounded by fans. However, Mo Schweber rarely took the initiative to eat with others, so he guessed that something must have happened to her. Taking advantage of their lunch break, Huamin drove straight to the place Mo Schweber mentioned. Mo Schweber was sitting in a private room on the top floor, wearing a black short-sleeved shirt. Her coat was a white woolen coat that was hanging on the hanger beside her. Schweber, since she was an artist from his company, Huamin was quite friendly when he saw her. A young lady, come and sit. Ha, you should just call me Huamin. It sounds weird. The truth was, Huamin didn't like being called a young lady at all. It sounded too old, like a punching bag for a rich family. Okay, what do you want to eat? Hurry up. It's my treat today. Mo Schweber smiled. It was rare for her to be in such a good mood. Okay, I love meat. I'm a classic carnivore. Then, Huamin flipped through the menu. Just then, the door to the private room opened. Huamin heard footsteps and turned around.
Huh.
Little sister Mian is here too. Huaxiqian wasn't surprised at all. However, Huamin was indeed surprised. Wasn't it just him and Mo Schweber eating together? Chapter 8:27. Huamin, I also invited your older brother. You don't mind, do you? Mo Schweber asked with a smile. Of course. I don't mind. Huamin smiled as well. She finally understood that this wasn't just a simple meal. Huamin really thought too much of Mo Schweber. Huaxiqian, on the other hand, was very generous. He walked in and sat right next to Mo Schweber. Then, he intimately kissed her cheek, treating Huamin as if he was invisible. I'm the host today. You guys order whatever you want. Mo Schweber was very generous. Huaxiqian looked up at Huamin and said, Mian can order whatever she wants. I'll eat whatever she wants. Huamin didn't say anything. He just looked down at the menu then. He reached out his hand and called the waiter over. Give me this barbecue, pork belly, enoki mushrooms, squid, and chicken feet. Oh, right, and this pork tendon and vegetable combo. What about drinks? Mineral water. Then I want mineral water too. Huaxiqian was like a child. You're not drinking today? Mo Schweber looked at Huaxiqian and asked. Nope, I have a meeting at the company in the afternoon after ordering. The three of them sat across from each other. It was actually quite awkward. If it was just Huaxiqian and Huamin, it wouldn't be so awkward. However, with Mo Schweber, who he wasn't very familiar with, it was a bit awkward. Schweber, how's your work these days? Thanks to President Chin's care, my jobs have been pretty good, and they're all top-notch.
Oh.
Huamin nodded, but he suddenly didn't know what to say. Huaxiqian, on the other hand, poured himself a glass of mineral water, looked at Huamin and said, You've successfully become a doctor, but you didn't treat me to a meal. Let me congratulate you today.
Thank you.
Huamin, you're a doctor now. Mo Schweber was surprised. Yes, I had an exam a few days ago. Ha, I didn't even know about something this big. Mr. Huashur is well-informed. Mo Schweber looked at Huaxiqian meaningfully. Of course. How could I not pay attention to my own sister? Take Hua Yanyan, for example. I know how many overdraft cards she spends every month. Did you notice, Mr. Hua? My eyes look like Huamin's. Mo Schweber said with a smile. Huamin touched his own face curiously and looked at Mo Schweber. He really didn't think they looked alike. He didn't know why she said that. Really? Why don't I feel anything? Huaxiqian kept smiling. But a lot of people are saying, ever since I came to GK, more and more people are saying that I look like a young lady. I'm honored. I'm not as good-looking as you are. You're flattering me. Huamin took a sip of water. No way. You must be extraordinary. Otherwise, how could President Chin be a henkan? Haha, henkan. It was the first time Huamin heard this term, and it was used to describe Chin Chu. Yeah, a few of us artists at GK sometimes say that President Chin is a henkan. Last time, the reimbursement bill was so ridiculous. but because you agreed to it, President Qin signed it without hesitation. It's obvious how much he loves you. Upon hearing Immerse's words, Huamin felt a little embarrassed. That brother-in-law of mine. That's true. But then again, any man who marries my little sister must be very lucky. How could he not treat her well? I told you that you treat Huamin much better than Huayanyan, right? You're such a biased brother. Immerse interrupted. Huamin looked up at Huasiqian and felt that he was looking at him with a complicated expression. Chapter 8:28. No normal person would like someone like Huayanyan, Huamin said calmly. Of course she's retarded. The only people who like her are her friends, because she's dumb and rich, Huasiqian said mockingly as he picked up a spicy radish. How could he compare Huamin to Huayanyan? Was Huayanyan good enough for him? Her IQ was so high that she could carry Huamin's shoes for him. Ha, you're too funny. Immerse giggled as she covered her mouth. I'm serious, Huasiqian said with a straight face. Just then, the waitress began to serve the dishes since she was closer to Huamin. She picked up a spatula and began to fry the meat. After a few seconds, Huasiqian took the spatula from her. Look at how dumb you are. You don't know how to cook. Let me do it. Immerse looked at Huasiqian with a complicated expression on her face. Then, she said coquettishly, Young Master Hua is really good at taking care of people. Whoever marries him will be happy. You two are a good match, Huamin blurted out. I want to, but he doesn't like me. I'm not good enough for him. Who said that? Did you forget how you got him last night? Huasiqian said dirty words. Immerse immediately punched him on the shoulder. Can't you two let me eat? I have to go back to the hospital in a bit. Huamin smiled. Huasiqian stir-fried the meat for a while, and all the meat was ready. The three of them began to eat. Huasiqian was very considerate. He would put meat in Immerse and Huamin's bowl. Then, he would pour them water, get them utensils and tissues. He was more like a waiter than a waiter. Huamin initially thought that Immerse only wanted to have a meal with her and talk about the company. Later on, he realized that she had an ulterior motive from the moment Huasiqian walked through the door. Huamin already knew what Immerse was up to. She just wanted to see if there was any intimate relationship between her and Huasiqian. This might seem a little crazy to outsiders. However, Huasiqian was indeed not a member of the Hua family. He was just an adopted son. Immerse must really love Huasiqian. Back then, Immerse came to sign the contract with Huasiqian after he called her. This is enough to verify when Huamin walked out of the restaurant. He wasn't in a good mood either. After Huamin got into the car, Huasiqian sent him a WeChat message. Don't eat with Immerse alone in the future. Why not? Huamin asked back. Why do you ask so many questions? Just listen to whatever I say. Why should I listen to you? Stupid girl. You're being rebellious again. Whatever, just remember, that woman isn't as simple as you think. Just as he was about to drive back to Southside, he received a call from the chief of internal medicine. He wanted him to go to the first hospital and get some medicine for Shui. Huamin immediately turned around and went to the first hospital. He followed the instructions and got the medicine. Huamin went downstairs to look for Huang Yu. However, she wasn't in the OB/GYN department. Head nurse, where's Yu? She went out. She's by the side door. I think her boyfriend is here. Huamin was slightly surprised. Boyfriend?
Ishin?
Shouldn't he be in class right now? Huamin was very curious. He put his medicine in the car and walked towards the side door. There were 3 entrances to the first hospital: the main entrance, the back entrance, and the side door. The side door was more secluded and most patients wouldn't use it. Usually the hospital staff would use it for convenience. Huamin walked down the dark corridor to the side door. From afar, he saw Huang Yu pulling a man. That man wasn't Jixin. Huamin's heart sank when he saw this. Chapter 8:29. What's the point of working at this shitty job? How much do you get paid per month? I told you that I'll take care of you. Why don't you know what's good for you? So many women want me to take care of them, but I refuse. You really don't know what's good for you. Let go of me, I have to go to work. Don't come looking for me at work again. Huang Yu seemed to dislike men.
What?
You're scared that your pretty boy student will see you? The man laughed disgustingly. He was a man with tattoos on his arms. It was a cold day, yet he was wearing sleeves. What a psycho. His hair was slightly long, his eyes were small, his nose was big, and his mouth was ugly. He looked like he was in his 30s. Humin couldn't imagine how Huang Yu got involved with someone like him. He was the epitome of a scumbag. Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and leave. Don't let anyone see us. I don't want anyone to talk about us like that. Huang Yu reached out and pushed the man away. The man turned around and slapped Huang Yu. Bitch. You weren't so impatient to chase me away when you were in my bed. I haven't hit you for a few days, so you're going to give me some face, right? I was kind enough to take you out for lunch, but you fucking pulled a long face at me. That's why I say you women are so cheap. I just didn't do you well enough. The man's mouth was full of profanity, and he even slapped Huang Yu. Humin, who wasn't far behind them, couldn't take it anymore. She walked out from the corner and blocked the man's hand that was about to fall again. Huang Yu was a coward. She was so scared that she tilted her head. She didn't even dare to fight back. Scumbag, stop right now, Humin cursed. Who the fuck are you? Senior sister. Why are you here? Huang Yu suddenly looked up when she heard the voice. When she saw Humin, she was shocked. If I didn't come to find you, I wouldn't be able to see this amazing scene. Humin looked coldly at Huang Yu and said, Senior sister, I'm so sorry for you and Jixin. Huang Yu began to cry. Don't talk first. We'll talk later. With that, Humin walked over and kicked the man's lower body. Humin had perfected this end of posterity kick. Ah, you stinking woman, you dare to kick me. Do you know who I am? Even if your father is Sun Wukong, I'll still kick him. Let me tell you, men who hit women are all fucking cowards. If you're so capable, go to Iraq and help. What's the point of hitting women here, you idiot? This was the first time in his life that Humin had cursed so intensely. Simply, her feelings could no longer be described as anger. With that, Humin turned around, grabbed Huang Yu's hand, and started walking back. Little bitch. You just wait and see how I'll deal with you later. The man yelled behind them as he held onto his crutch. Huang Yu didn't say anything the whole way. She just cried. Humin dragged her to a remote rooftop in the hospital. Then, he suddenly let go. Tell me what happened. Humin crossed his arms and looked at Huang Yu with a serious expression. She never thought that one day, Huang Yu would date another man behind Jixin's back. Plus, that man wasn't even as handsome as Jixin. He was old, ugly, and had tattoos all over his body. Senior sister, I didn't want it to be like this. I really didn't mean to lie to you and Jixin. I had no choice. Huang Yu cried incoherently. Perhaps she didn't expect Humin to encounter something like this. Tell me one thing at a time. First, tell me, who is that man? What's his relationship with you? Humin looked coldly at Huang Yu. Chapter 830. Huang Yu leaned against the cold wall, dispirited. After a moment of silence. She slowly said, Mian, I'm sorry for Jixin. You've already said that. Humin reminded her coldly. I met him at a class reunion. He's my classmate's older brother. My classmate organized the reunion, so we didn't have to split the bill. There were a lot of people, so I went. I didn't expect. I drank too much, and then I slept with him. I swear, I only like Jixin. I really drank too much, so I don't remember anything. Later on, that guy kept harassing me, and he kept coming to my apartment and the hospital to find me. I'm really, really scared of him. He's a gangster. I heard he has a gang background, so I didn't dare to mess with him. He even threatened that if I didn't listen to him, he would go to school and find Jixin and cripple him. I'm really scared of Jixin. Mian Humin, I'm really sorry. I didn't dare to tell you guys because I was scared that you guys would look down on me, and I was scared that Jixin wouldn't be able to take it. Huang Yu cried as she spoke, and it didn't seem like she was faking it. Humin sighed slightly when he heard what she said. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I didn't dare. That guy is too scary. I didn't want to drag you guys down, really. You guys don't know how much of a scumbag he is. He's capable of doing anything. Huang Yu was a little white rabbit who had never come into contact with someone like that, so she was really scared. Therefore, she chose to remain silent and swallow her anger. When it came to Jixin, she chose to avoid him. So you've been avoiding Jixin? Huamin continued to ask. I know that Jixin treats me well, but I feel so dirty right now. I can't face him. As Huang Yu said this, she covered her head and squatted on the ground, crying again. She was only a 21-year-old girl, so she really couldn't handle this much psychological pressure. Have you thought about calling the police? Call the police? How would I dare? He has a gang. If the police arrest him, his gang will kill my whole family. You don't know them. They're all outlaws. Huang Yu had been beaten up by En several times, so she was scared of him. But how long do you plan to stay on the edge like this? When will it end? Huamin asked indifferently. I don't know either. I just wanted to buy as much time as possible. I didn't expect you to find out. Senior sister, can you not tell Jixin? I'm afraid he won't be able to take it. Jixin cares about you a lot. Don't you think you should give him an explanation? Huamin didn't know what to say. Things had already come to this point, yet he still had to keep Jixin in the dark. She made him suffer from lovesickness. Did she really love Jixin? I have to give him an explanation. I'll break up with him tonight. Are you sure you want to break up? What else can I do? I'm already like this. Will Jixin still like me? Huang Yu's eyes were red and swollen from crying. You're not Jixin. How do you know what he's thinking? Huang Yu shook her head. Even if Jixin doesn't mind, I can't live with myself. Plus, that person said that if I continue to contact Jixin, he'll destroy Jixin as well. I can't hurt him. So, you're going to live like this for the rest of your life? What else can I do? Why didn't you ask me about this? I don't think I can't deal with someone like that. We can face it together, Huamin said word for word. If it was before, Huamin probably wouldn't dare to mess with those hooligans. However, things were different now. She had Qin Chu, Gao Ran, and even the owner of Seductive Fox at her disposal. If one were to talk about the biggest asshole, no one would be more powerful than the owner of Seductive Fox. However, Huang Yu didn't say a word about it. Even if you help me take care of that person, what about his accomplices? If you can't get rid of all of them, my family will be in danger. My parents love me so much. I don't want anything to happen to them. I can't let anything happen to them. Senior sister, can you be considerate of me? Huang Yu begged Huamin. She didn't even want Huamin to help her out. Her way of dealing with things was really ridiculous. So, you don't want me to help you, right? Huamin looked at Huang Yu with disappointment. Chapter 8:31. Yes, Huang Yu replied as she clenched her teeth. Okay, since you said so. What else can I say? Huamin smiled bitterly. I'm sorry, Mian. I know you're good to me, but I have too many concerns. No, you're not sorry at all. You're sorry for Jixin. I didn't want you guys to be together back then, because you were both too young and didn't know how to handle things properly. It was inevitable that you guys would hurt each other. But Jixin loves you deeply, and as his older sister, I don't want to be the person who breaks you up. Since things have come to this, I don't blame you. I just hope that you don't drag this out. If you want to break up, just tell him. Don't make him wait like an idiot. Okay, I'll tell him tonight, Huang Yu said with difficulty. Huamin looked at her. Then take care of yourself. Also, if you need my help, call me today. Otherwise, I won't care about anything that happens to you in the future. Huamin wasn't being heartless, but rather, he was being decisive and decisive. One had to be decisive and decisive. Huang Yu was afraid of offending that hooligan today, so she refused to let Huamin help her. She didn't want to continue her relationship with Jixin, but she was afraid of that person's threat. She was too timid. She was so timid that she was overcautious. She was so timid that she was willing to give up her beloved boyfriend to be with a scumbag. This was her own choice. If she missed the opportunity that Huamin gave her, then Huamin really wouldn't help her anymore. He already gave her a chance. If she missed it, then it wasn't worth it anymore. I'm sorry, Mian. Huang Yu still said the same thing. Huamin was annoyed by her words. She turned around and left. She got into her Audi R8 and sped back to Southside. She delivered the medicine to Shuai's attending physician and then went back to her office to organize her documents. Dr. Hua, someone booked your appointment. Do you want to continue? The assistant nurse asked. Huamin looked down at the time and nodded. Take this one. Okay. Then, the nurse brought the patient in. What's the situation? Huamin looked at the data on the computer and asked in a low voice. The person remained silent. Why are you? Huamin raised his head and was about to scold her when he was stunned. To her surprise, she realized that the person who had arrived was none other than Ningxian. Why are you here? Mian, you're a doctor now. Congratulations. Ningxian looked very haggard. His beard was unkempt, and the jacket he wore was a little old. He didn't seem to be doing too well. Thank you, Huamin said lightly. My parents came to look for you a few days ago, right? Yes, they couldn't find you, so they found me. Yeah, I called them later. Thank you for taking care of them for me and giving them money. No need. They treat me very well too. I treat them like family. Huamin's heart still ached when he thought of the sincere old couple. I was fired by President Wu after I divorced Wu Xiaoxue. I heard that it was because you made a mistake during a cataract surgery, Huamin said as he stared at him. Ningxian nodded. I was very confused at the time. I don't know why, but I couldn't concentrate. After I left the first hospital, I started seeing patients at a small private hospital. Where are you living? Auntie Ning said that you rented out that apartment. Yeah, I'm living in the dorm provided by the hospital. It saves money that way. Oh, Huamin nodded. I haven't been feeling very well lately. Can you prescribe me some medicine? Ningxian suddenly said, You can't rely on medicine. You have to adjust your mentality. As a doctor, you should know this. Huamin didn't want to hurt him. Many of the medicine that suppressed one's mental state would make them look very stupid. Can you lend me some money? I'm a little short on money lately, Ningxian suddenly said. Chapter 832. Huamin was a little speechless, but out of courtesy, she still asked, How much do you want to borrow? 100,000, is that okay? Why do you need so much money? 100,000 wasn't a lot to Huamin, but she wanted to know what Ningxian was going to do with the money. Oh, I want to buy a pharmacy and do it myself. I don't want to go to work. It's uncomfortable to be controlled by others. 100,000 isn't enough to buy a pharmacy. At the very least, investing in a pharmacy would cost 300,000 to 500,000. Oh, I'm partnering with someone else. They're offering 200,000. I'm offering 100,000. Ningxian corrected himself. Where's the pharmacy? How much is the rent? Do you have all the documents? Who's the legal person? Huamin threw out several questions in a row. Ningxian was stunned by the questions. Huamin was a typical Virgo. She was very meticulous. She thought that if Ningxian was telling the truth, then she could lend him 100,000. But seeing how he stuttered and evasive his answers, something didn't feel right. I'm not sure either my friend did it. There are a lot of scammers these days. You should ask them clearly. Can you give me 100,000 now? I'll definitely pay you back when I have the money. Ningxian said anxiously, Sure. I'll say it again. I'll lend you the money if you provide me with the details. I only help the needy, not the poor. If you want to squander the money, no one can help you. Huamin enunciated each and every word. Fine. I admit that I lied to you. I didn't open a pharmacy. I just don't have the money to spend. You're my ex-girlfriend. Can't you help me? Isn't she really rich? He even bought you a mansion and a mansion. You guys spent over 100 million on an anniversary celebration. Why is it so hard to give me some money? Ningxian seemed to be filled with resentment. Huamin was shocked by him. What you mean is that those poor people can ask the rich for money if they have no money, and it's wrong if they don't give it to them? Huamin laughed mockingly. But aren't we friends? Isn't it normal to help a friend? Ningxian spoke matter-of-factly. Really? Since we're friends, why didn't you help me when I was so anxious to find you when Jixin was in a car accident? Huamin smiled. If I help you, Qin Shu won't have anything to do with it. After all, he has to thank you and let you go. Ning Ziyuan said shamelessly. Huamin wanted to curse out loud. It's time for the diagnosis. You can leave. I have nothing to say to you. You won't lend me the money, right? Yes. Huamin nodded. Good, very good. Haha, Huamin, just you wait. You'll get your retribution, Ning Ziyuan said viciously. You're wrong. Only evil people get their retribution. I, Huamin, have been honest for the past 24 years. I've never done anything wrong. Why would I get my retribution? Oh, really? Then why don't you have children after being married for so long? Ning Ziyuan laughed viciously. Huamin's face instantly turned pale. What? You don't know what to say? I hit the nail on the head. You think you're happy just because you married into a rich family, ha. I often read the entertainment news. Your mother-in-law scolds you every day and calls you a hen that can't lay eggs. You're just pretending to be a young lady, aren't you? The truth is, you can't even have children. How much longer will Qin Shu love you like this? Ning Ziyuan, shut up. Huamin was so angry that he was shaking. Perhaps his words hit her where it hurt, so she couldn't stay calm. Is it because your husband can't do it?
Huh?
Do you want me to be a virgin and lend you my seed so you can get pregnant? As soon as he said this, Huamin threw a pen holder at Ning Ziyuan. With a clang, it landed on Ning Ziyuan's head. Ning Ziyuan, don't be so evil. You're a father after all. It won't do you any good to walk down this path. Chapter 8:33. You don't have to be so cocky with me.
Huamin, I'll wait.
Even if I have to live my life, I want to see the day you get stepped on. After speaking, Ning Ziyuan left with his head in his hands. Huamin was so angry that her face turned ugly. Not having children seemed to be a sore point for her. However, she didn't want to do this either. Ning Ziyuan had spoken so viciously because he failed to borrow money from her. She was speechless. Did couples have to fight when they saw each other again after breaking up? Huamin was restless the entire afternoon. Jixin's incident and Ning Ziyuan's incident made her feel double the pressure. After she got off work, she drove straight back to her home at Imperial Park. Then, she fell into a deep sleep. She didn't even know when Qin Shu came home. Honey, it's time to eat. Don't sleep. Qin Shu made a few calls, but Huamin didn't hear them because her ringtone was turned down. He anxiously went to Southside and found out that she got off work on time, so he went straight back to Imperial Park. When he saw Huamin's Audi downstairs, he knew that she must be upstairs. I don't want to eat, you eat. Huamin's voice was very quiet. Qin Shu felt that something was wrong. He leaned down and touched her forehead with his lips. Only then did he realize that she was shockingly hot. You have a fever, you didn't even know. You were still sleeping. Heartbroken, Qin Shu picked her up from the bed, wrapped her in a blanket, and carried her upstairs to the sofa. Then, he took out an electronic thermometer to measure her temperature. 39.6. Huamin, that's enough. Qin Shu looked at the thermometer, his face turning dark. Normal people wouldn't be able to take it. How could she not have a reaction? She was a doctor. How could she not know common sense? Huamin only felt uncomfortable all over. Then, she felt sleepy and wanted to sleep. She really didn't notice that she had such a high fever. Qin Shu took out the fever medicine from the first aid kit and poured a cup of warm water for her to take. Then, he hugged her in his arms and pressed his face against hers with heartache. Why do you have a fever out of nowhere? Maybe he caught a cold, Huamin said in a daze. Idiot, you don't even know that you're sick. You're the biggest idiot in the world. What if I don't know how to find you? If you continue burning, won't your brain be fried? That's good. Then I can quietly be an idiot. Then I can stay by your side and let you take care of me for the rest of my life. Huamin rubbed his warm face against Qin Shu's chiseled chin. Qin Shu's heart ached as he hugged her tightly. Fortunately, the medicine worked well, and after half an hour, Huamin's fever subsided. Qin Shu used the towel to apply ice to her forehead. He let her rest her head on his lap. Just then, Huamin's phone rang. Qin Shu saw that it was his mother, so he picked it up. Auntie, where's Mian? Yang Meirong asked. She's here. Give her the phone. Yang Meirong seemed a little anxious. Qin Chu handed the phone to Humin, and Humin picked it up in a daze. Mian, Mom, what's wrong? Come back quickly. I don't know what's wrong with Jixin, but he didn't eat or drink when he got home. He locked himself in his room and didn't open the door even when I knocked. Okay, I'll be right back. Only then did Humin remember that Huang Yu might have told Jixin about the breakup. So, she forced herself to stay awake. Where are you going? Jixin, there's some trouble over there. I have to go back and check on him. Let's go together. Qin Chu knew that Humin had to go, so he didn't stop her. Instead, he drove her to Sky Blessing Court. You guys are finally here. Go and see that kid. He's acting weird today. He didn't say anything to me. Yang Meirong was very anxious. Chapter 834. On the way there, Humin told Qin Chu about Jixin's situation. So, Qin Chu had a rough idea of what was going on. Humin dragged his feverish body upstairs to Jixin's bedroom. Jixin, open the door, it's your sister. She knocked several times, but Jixin didn't respond. Jixin, open the door, come out, and tell me what you want. Sis, I'm not asleep. Let me be alone. Humin looked at Qin Chu helplessly. Qin Chu walked up. Let me try. Jixin, it's your brother-in-law. Open the door, I want to talk to you about your internship at the company. Sure enough, when he heard Qin Chu, Jing Zixin slowly opened the door. My dear, you finally opened the door. Humin let out a sigh of relief when he saw that Jixin was fine. Sis, she broke up with me. Jixin looked at Humin with tears in his big eyes. He seemed to be sad and wanted to cry, but he also felt bitter and embarrassed, so he tried his best to hold it in. Humin couldn't help but hug Jixin. Jixin also hugged Humin, and the two siblings hugged each other like that. Mr. Qin, who was watching from the side, felt jealous. Luckily, it was Jixin, so he didn't feel jealous. If it was anyone else, he would have grabbed that person and thrown him out. Jixin, your sister is still sick. This isn't the place to talk. Let's go downstairs. Qin Chu comforted him. Jing Jixin let go of Humin and quietly followed behind them. Humin didn't want his mother to hear, so he said, Mom, my brother is fine. He just didn't do well on the exam, but I talked him out of it. He's hungry, and so am I. Hurry up and cook us some porridge. I want pumpkin porridge. Make it a little longer. Oh, so it's an exam. This matter really scared me to death. This child, alright, you guys just wait. When Yang Meirong heard Humin's words, she was no longer suspicious. He went straight to the kitchen to prepare supper. Qin Chu, Humin, and Jixin sat on the sofa in the living room. Jixin took out his phone and handed it to Humin. She sent me a WeChat message. Take a look at it yourself. I don't want to repeat myself. Humin took the phone and saw Huang Yu's message. Jixin, I'm sorry. I've thought about it for a long time, but I still have to tell you that I've fallen in love with someone else. We met at a class reunion, and I can't be with you anymore. I didn't want to hurt you, so I didn't tell you. But it's not good for either of us to drag this out. So let's break up. Thank you for taking care of me before, and I wish you a better girl in the future. These words were very conventional and did not have any standard. One look and one could tell that it was something a child would say.
So?
You can't take it anymore? Humin looked at his brother, a little angry at how useless he was.
No, I just can't stand how fickle she is.
I don't think she's that kind of person. People's hearts are unpredictable. How can you know what a person is thinking? Plus, you can't force love. I know. Jixin nodded. If you know, then why are you so depressed? We just broke up, no one can accept it. I just feel bad, really sis, it hurts here. Jixin pointed at his chest. Humin frowned. Forget it, the pain will pass. You have to be strong. Jixin, you're a man, you can't just live with love. You still have your friends, your teachers, your classmates, and your career. Your brother-in-law already thought about it. After the new year, you'll have fewer classes when school starts, so you can go straight to GK. Really? Brother-in-law, I can go after the new year? Jixin was pleasantly surprised. It was almost December. After the new year in March, he only had a few months left. Yeah, as long as you pull yourself together and work hard, nothing will be a problem. I'll listen to you, brother-in-law, you're my idol. You're only 27 years old, but you're already on the Forbes Asia list. You're on the cover of many financial magazines. You're so cool. The more Jishin spoke, the more excited he became. The sadness from before seemed to have disappeared. Hwamin looked at Chin Chu gratefully. The relationship between the couple was obvious. Brother-in-law, can I go to GK Film and Television for my internship? Jishin suddenly asked. Hwamin and Chin Chu were both surprised by the question. Chapter 8:35. Why do you want to go to GK Film and Television? Hwamin asked, confused. Because I really like Mo Shwer Chin Chu. Hwamin, you're a fan of celebrities? Hwamin was completely speechless. She's so good at acting, and An-I-Young is so good at singing. Did you guys hear the last song he sang at the concert? It's called The Lonely Bird. Oh my god, it was so good that it broke my heart. When it came to An-I-Young, Jishin was even more exaggerated. Oh, I heard that song, it was really good. An-I-Young is one of the rare superstars who is both a capable and an idol. He's the male lead of our company, Chin Chu said with a smile. That's great. Brother-in-law, I'll go to GK. Maybe I can be Mo Schweber's assistant, or An-I-Yang's assistant. Hwamin rolled his eyes at him. That's all you've got? You're the president's brother-in-law. How can you be someone's assistant? Don't you feel ashamed? Ha! I can start from the bottom. Once I understand how the company operates, you can promote me to the president of GK Film and Television. Chin Chu. Hwamin. Bro, if you're okay, go wash up and go to bed. What are you guys talking about? You look so happy. Yang Mei-rong walked out of the kitchen with a tray containing 3 bowls of pumpkin porridge. She also brought some salted vegetables and heated up some snacks. Wow, you're done so quickly.
Thank you, Mom.
Hwamin smiled. After his fever subsided, he was starving. He ate with relish. Chin Chu and An-I-Young each had some porridge as well. Seeing that An-I-Young was fine, Yang Mei-rong was relieved. Before they left, Hwamin repeatedly reminded Jishin, "Don't go looking for Huang Yu." Jishin nodded. After that, Hwamin and Chin Chu went home. The next morning when Hwamin arrived at the hospital, he first went to see Shuai Shuai, who had just woken up. He was in good spirits. Xiaowan was feeding him porridge. Morning, Shuai Shuai. Good morning, Sister Hua. Wow, you look so energetic today. Come, let me take a look. Hwamin walked over and saw that Shuai Shuai's complexion had improved a lot. His mood improved as well. When did he wake up? He woke up last night. Chief Chi said that he's recovering well. That's good. You've worked hard these days.
No.
It's my own child. It's not hard at all. Xia Wan shook her head repeatedly. When Shuai Shuai is discharged from the hospital, I'll find a school for him and a new place for you to live. Then you can take some time to meet An-I-Young. Yes. Xiaowan nodded. An-I-Young? Is it that big star? Shuai Shuai suddenly heard it. Yeah, it's that big star brother. Do you like him? I do. My classmates all like him. They say that he's super handsome and he sings really well. Shuai Shuai said excitedly. Xiaowan didn't feel good about it. They were half-brothers, but they didn't like each other at all. When you're better, I'll take you to meet that big brother of his, okay? Really? Shuai Shuai was obviously very excited. Of course, I never lie. But isn't he a big star? Shuai Shuai reacted quickly. But a big star is still a person. Big brother An-I-Young is a really nice person. That's great. I want to take a picture with him and get his autograph. Shuai Shuai was so happy that he danced around. Don't move around. Hurry up and eat, Xiaowan scolded, probably because she didn't feel good about it. At noon, Hwamin finished eating and returned to the lobby on the first floor. She heard someone calling her from afar. She turned around and saw that it was indeed Jiang Xiaowei. Beauty, ever since you got engaged, you've been really busy. Not only have I not been able to see you, but even Wei Liao rarely walks around the market, Huamin joked. Haha, that's because I taught him well. Oh right, come with me. I have something to tell you. What is it? Can you take a look at this for me? What's going on? Zhang Xiaowei mysteriously took out something from her pocket and handed it to Huamin. Huamin picked it up and looked at it. He was immediately dumbfounded. So, you're trying to tell me that you're pregnant? Huamin looked at Zhang Xiaowei in surprise. Chapter 836. Pregnant? Oh my god, are you kidding me? Zhang Xiaowei was going crazy. Sis, this is an early pregnancy test. There are 2 lines. The second line isn't that obvious, right? How can you be sure that I'm pregnant? Zhang Xiaowei was speechless. She and Wei Liao had only been together for a short while. It hadn't even been 20 days since they started living together. When she woke up this morning, she realized that her period, which was usually punctual, was late. Therefore, she bought an early pregnancy test, but in the end, it should be. Huamin nodded. Oh my god, what should I do now? Zhang Xiaowei didn't seem ready. Sis, this is a good thing, okay? Why do you look like you hate him so much? Huamin couldn't be more envious. How great would it be if he was her? Good thing.
What's good about it?
Who knows what will happen between us in the future? Plus, I'm not prepared for this. If you're not mentally prepared, you should use some protection, sis. Zhang Xiaowei was a straight-A student with a PhD in psychology. How come she didn't even know this basic knowledge? I did. I was drunk one day and he was impulsive. It didn't work, it was just that one time. This thing can be so magical sometimes. Huamin quietly replied. Can you be sure that I'm pregnant? After all, it's only been 10 days. It can't be that weird, right? Zhang Xiaowei still couldn't believe it. There's another way. You can come with me to the OB/GYN to get your blood drawn and test your progesterone level. Then, everything will be fine. Okay, let's go. Take me there. Before Huamin could say anything, Zhang Xiaowei pushed her into the OB/GYN. Upstairs in the OB/GYN, Huamin accompanied Zhang Xiaowei to get her blood drawn. Then, he asked his colleagues in the lab to get the results as soon as possible. 40 minutes later, Zhang Xiaowei held the test results with a bitter expression on her face. This child is too fucking unexpected. It's fate that it's here. You're not planning to abort it, are you? I do have that thought. No. Give birth to it and let me raise it. You can't abort it. The child is a life, Huamin said pitifully. I'm just kidding. I think they'll be happy that I don't have parents. Also, the Wei family, they don't like me because I'm too direct with my words, but I don't like them either. Now that I'm pregnant, it's a good chance to make them talk. That's right. Since you plan to be with Wei Liao, you must keep the child. Wait for me to go back and see his reaction. In fact, Zhang Xiaowei was quite uncertain. Usually, when a man's relationship wasn't stable, he didn't like his girlfriend to be pregnant. The 2 of them were not officially married and had not registered their marriage. Although the engagement was sensational, it could only be considered a ceremony. However, Wei Liao wasn't young anymore. He was one of the older ones, even older than Suyu. He was already 28 years old. Maybe he'd be happy that Zhang Xiaowei was pregnant? After Zhang Xiaowei's pregnancy was confirmed, she seemed to have mixed feelings. One moment, she was happy, and the next, she was pessimistic. Huamin was very envious and kept reminding her to protect herself. He even ran to the prescription and bought her folic acid with his own money. Remember to take it for the first 3 months. It's good for the baby. Thank you, my genius doctor. Zhang Xiaowei pinched Huamin's face. After Zhang Xiaowei left, she went straight to Wei Liao's company. The Wei family's business was very big. They started with steel, and now they were also in the chemical industry. Wei Liao wasn't the top CEO of the family group. He didn't have as much power as Qin Chu. However, he was still the executive vice president. Wei Liao. Zhang Xiaowei shouted as she walked towards the office. Slightly. Why are you at the company? I have good news and bad news for you. Which one do you want to hear? The bad one. The bad news is that I think I'm pregnant. Wei Liao was dumbfounded. What about the good news? Chapter 837. The good news is that you're going to be a father. Gah. Wei Liao almost choked to death. You're pregnant, and I'm going to be a father. What's the difference? Wei Liao was speechless. Yes, I'm pregnant. It's a little sudden, and it's a bad thing for us. But you're 28 years old, and you're going to be a father. In a sense, this is good news. No wonder you study psychology, you're awesome. Wei Liao gave her a thumbs up. Cut the crap, you made me pregnant. What do we do now? Abort and break up, or? Before Jiang Shaowei could finish her sentence, Wei Liao immediately stood up and covered Jiang Shaowei's mouth with his hand. Oh my god, what are you talking about? Why do we have to abort it? You said it's a good thing that I'm going to be a father.
So?
What do we do now? Jiang Shaowei asked on purpose. In fact, she really wanted to see Wei Liao's reaction so that she would know what to do next. Based on Jiang Shaowei's swift and decisive way of doing things, if Wei Liao appeared to be depressed, she wouldn't let him off easily. She would immediately ask Huamin to make an appointment with the obstetrician to abort the baby and then break up with the jerk. If Wei Liao looked happy, then, of course, we're getting married with a baby. Getting married with a baby? Jiang Shaowei was surprised. Yeah, the baby's here. Isn't it a reminder for us to get married soon? Hurry up. You won't look good in a wedding dress when you're pregnant. Oh, by the way, the weather is nice today. Why don't we get our marriage certificate first?
Now.
Jiang Shaowei was petrified again. Wei Liao looked at his watch. Yeah, there's still time. I'm familiar with them, so they can wait for us to get our household register. Hey, we're getting married just like that. Jiang Shaowei was surprised. Wei Liao was really happy, don't worry. I'll give you the monetary gift. The house and car will all be transferred to you. Oh, yes, and I'll be yours in the future. With that, Wei Liao took Jiang Shaowei's hand. The two of them quickly drove to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get their household registration booklets. When Jiang Shaowei held the red book in her hand, she wondered if she was dreaming. She had once thought that she would never be able to get married, but she had actually gotten engaged in a flash in a short period of time, got pregnant in a short period of time, and then got married. It was really a shotgun marriage. How melodramatic. Slightly. I'll discuss the wedding date with my parents. You can see if your family has any requests. Also, do you want to hold it locally or abroad? Also, you can decide where to take photos and where to go for the honeymoon. Jiang Shaowei was still stunned. Oh, right. The most important thing now is to invite my buddies over for a meal to celebrate. Then, Wei Liao immediately called Su Yu, Tang Chuan, and the others. Then, he reminded Jiang Shaowei, shouldn't you call Huamin over as well? After all, you guys are close. Wait a second, let me think. Jiang Shaowei held the red book and sat in Wei Liao's black Rolls-Royce Phantom for a long time. Finally, she hesitantly called Huamin. Huamin, come over for dinner in a bit. It's at Shengbin Restaurant. I don't think so. I'm pretty tired today. Huamin thought that it was a dinner party, so he wanted to turn it down. To his surprise, the woman added, I've already gotten my marriage certificate. I've arranged a meal for you. Hurry up and come over. After yelling at him, Jiang Shaowei hung up the phone. Huamin was once again dumbfounded. That woman just found out she was pregnant today and she got her marriage certificate tonight. This world was too crazy. She couldn't keep up with it. Although he was shocked, Huamin still went. She called Qin Chu. Then, she drove straight to the restaurant. When she entered the private room, Su Yu and the others were already there. When Su Yu saw Huamin, his expression changed. He seemed to be faintly happy. Huamin, come and sit with me. Jiang Shaowei waved her hand. Chapter 838. Sister Slightly, it's not good for you to be so bossy. Our Lord Su hasn't seen the head nurse for a long time, and you're taking away his love. Tang Chuan's mouth was very cheap as he joked around. Head nurse?
She's a doctor now.
You've changed a lot after going abroad. Zhang Xiaowei laughed. Oh, really? She's a doctor now, congratulations. Tang Chuan clenched his fists. Thank you. How come I feel like the world has changed when I went abroad? Wei Liao is suddenly a father and a husband, and Humin is a doctor. Lord Su, what about you? Didn't you give me a surprise? What kind of surprise do you want? How about I dip my whip in wax tonight? Su looked at Tang Chuan. I don't have that kind of taste. They chatted and laughed as Wei Liao entered the private room after ordering. There were only 5 people in total, but the dishes were sumptuous. Shungbin Restaurant was owned by the Wei family and run by Weiing, the 3rd son of the Wei family. Business was good, and the dishes were authentic. It was Humin's first time here. Congratulations to the 2 of you.
Come, let's have a drink.
Tang Chuan raised his glass. Su also raised his glass. Slightly will be fine with mineral water, Wei Liao said with a smile. Just then, Humin slowly said, I'll have some mineral water too. What's going on? Are you pregnant too? Tang Chuan said without thinking. When he said this, Su Yu's hand that was holding the wine glass visibly trembled. Then, everyone's gaze fell on Humin. Humin immediately waved his hand and explained, No, I had a fever yesterday, and today I took cephalosporin anti-inflammatory medicine. I can't drink.
Oh, I see.
Tang Chuan nodded. I'll drink it for you. Seeing that Humin's glass was already full, Su Yu directly took it and finished it in one gulp. Lord Su, why are you drinking for her? You don't even have a relationship with her, Tang Chuan teased. Can't I be thirsty? Su Yu retorted proudly. If that's what you want to say, then drink the 3 of us as well. Fuck you. After Su Yu finished cursing, everyone laughed. Su Yu looked at Wei Liao and Zhang Xiaowei. The 2 of you are really amazing. You really know how to make things difficult. It hasn't been long, and you've already made my nephew. Not bad. Of course. I'm not convinced by anyone but young Master Wei. Tang Chuan also laughed. Go away, don't make fun of me. Wei Liao smiled as he put his arm around Zhang Xiaowei's shoulder. Humin also said, Since you've gotten your marriage certificate, you're husband and wife. You must get along well and love each other. This is a promise for life. Of course. I'll hang myself on Zhang Xiaowei for the rest of my life. Wei Liao joked, If you dare to change trees, I'll break your dick. Zhang Xiaowei was very domineering. Everyone burst out in laughter again. Weiing had spent a lot of money on more than 30 dishes. To be honest, she didn't like Zhang Xiaowei before, thinking that she was a green tea bitch who wanted to climb up the social ladder. Later, she realized that Wei Ying was a very domineering and intelligent woman. Gradually, Wei Ying changed her mind. When she pushed open the door to the private room, she smiled and said, Second brother, second sister-in-law, you guys eat first. Call me, if it's not enough. Big brother Su Yu, big brother Tang Chuan, call me if it's not enough. You've gotten prettier, Tang Chuan said with a smile. Big brother Tang Chuan, you've always been a sweet talker.
Huh.
Why does this sister look so familiar? She's... Weiing had been to GK's 30-year anniversary party, so she found Humin familiar. Among the 5 people, she hadn't seen Humin before. Chapter 839. This is my good friend, Humin, Zhang Xiaowei introduced. A young lady from GK? Weiing suddenly remembered. Humin, this is Wei Liao's little sister, Weiing, Zhang Xiaowei introduced. Hello. Humin nodded slightly.
Wow.
You look so elegant. Weiing was well-informed and knew how to talk. After greeting them, Weiing went downstairs. After 2 hours of eating, everyone left. Tang Chuan suggested that they go to Seductive Fox, but Humin stood up and said, You guys go ahead, I'm not going. I haven't been feeling well lately and feel tired. I'll go home first. Okay, go home and rest. Zhang Xiaowei patted Humin's shoulder. I'll walk you downstairs. It was rare for Su Yu to see Humin, So he didn't care what other people thought of him and insisted. Before Huamin could refuse, he walked ahead of him. Why do I feel like Lord Su still can't forget Huamin? It's not what you think, it's what we all think. Wei Liao shook his head helplessly. Are you cold? Su looked at Huamin and asked.
No.
Huamin shook his head. You don't look well. Are you okay? Do you want me to drive you home? It's okay. I can drive myself, Huamin politely refused. Then, Su watched as Huamin got into his car. He reversed the car and drove off in his Audi R8. Worried, Su drove his Ferrari and followed Huamin from a distance. It was about 3 to 4 cars away. Su didn't leave until Huamin safely arrived at Imperial Park. Huamin saw everything clearly from the rearview mirror. There were less than 10 red Ferraris in this city. Suyu's license plate was so obvious, ending with 8. How could she not know? The truth was, she was touched by Suyu's actions. But even so, she couldn't reciprocate. She already had Qin Chu, so she couldn't fall in love with anyone else. When Huamin got home, Qin Chu wasn't home yet. She picked up her phone and made a call. Honey, are you still home? I'm on the road. Oh, okay. Are you done eating? Yes, I just got home too. Have you eaten? Do you want me to? No, I ate. Then, the two hung up. Huamin called his mother again. She said that Jixin was in a good mood today. He wasn't as depressed as he was yesterday. Huamian felt a lot more relieved. 20 minutes later, Qin Chu opened the door upstairs. Honey, is your passport at home? It's in the drawer, Huamin replied. Huamin got her passport when she was 17. It was valid for 10 years. At the time, she was planning to go to the States with Qin Chu, but they didn't go. So, her passport was left at the bottom of the drawer. All these years, she never had the chance to go abroad. Qin Chu went upstairs and took Huamin's passport down. Come with me. Where to? Huamin froze. The Maldives. Huamin was shocked when he heard this. The Maldives? Now, what kind of joke was this? Honey, wait a minute. Is it okay if you don't have a visa? Don't we have to apply for a visa in advance? The Maldives is a landing visa, Qin Chu replied as he walked. But I still have to go to work. What about the hospital? I already asked President Wu for 5 days off for you. Oh my God, 5 days? Huamin was going crazy. But I'm in too much of a hurry to leave. My swimsuit, dress, and vacation glasses and hats. Yang is ready. He's at the airport. Oh my God, how long did you plan this, Mr. Qin? I decided 3 hours ago. Okay, you win. Huamin was speechless. How could Mr. Qin be so willful when he was so rich? They first flew from C City to X City because there was a direct flight from X City to Malé, the capital of Indonesia. He said it so casually, as if he was buying groceries. Huamin felt like she had enough surprises today. However, she didn't expect to be shocked again at the airport. Jixin, why are you here? Brother-in-law said he's taking me to the Maldives. Jixin replied adorably. Oh my God. Are we going to a tour group? Huamin looked at Qin Chu again, dumbfounded. Chapter 840. Huamian was just joking, but she didn't expect it to become true. Huamin originally thought that it would be just her and Qin Chu, but not only did she see Jixin at the airport, but she also saw Jixin. There was also an 8-person film crew, including a stylist and a cameraman. Most importantly, there were 4 bodyguards. So this time, there were actually 15 people going to the Maldives. Mr. Rich Qin was extremely generous. He chartered a private jet to X City, then another private jet from X City to Malé, the capital of the Maldives. Finally, he transferred from Malé to Paradise Island. It took him 11 hours to get there, and he was speechless. However, the good thing was that they were on a luxurious private jet. The seats were super big, so they could lie down even if they were tired. It was very comfortable. It was Jixin's first time traveling abroad, so he was very excited the entire time. Sis is the Maldives in every woman's heart. Jixin asked playfully as he sat across from Huamin on the plane. I think so. Who wouldn't like such a romantic place? Huamin was a woman who loved the sea, but she never dared to dream of a paradise like the Maldives. Sea City was also a coastal city, but it was inland. The seawater was gray, unlike the blue sky and light blue on the screensaver. Therefore, an iconic island like the Maldives had become a place that women all over the world yearned for. However, because the journey was long and expensive, Huamin never thought about it. Qin Shu had mentioned it before, but because they were too busy, they didn't have time to come. This time, Qin Shu suddenly decided to go on a trip like this. For Huamin, it was sudden and full of surprises. She liked all the surprises that Mr. Qin created because Mr. Qin knew her too well. Qin Shu's decision this time wasn't sudden either. After they got married, they didn't even take wedding photos, and they didn't have a wedding either. It had always been a regret in his heart. Huamin seemed to be constantly thinking about the child, and she even went to the hospital to do a checkup. He was very sad. He wanted to relieve Huamin's stress and stop her from thinking too much. He also wanted Jixin, who was heartbroken, to calm down. In the end, Qin Shu decided to put down his work and take 5 days to go on a trip like this. They say that the Maldives will sink in 50 years because of the rising sea. I don't know if it's true or not, but I can die without regrets. Jixin sighed. How old are you? You're only 19. Please don't always say things that make people think that you're an old man. Huamian held a glass of juice and looked at her brother. Qin Shu was busy during the flight. Although there was no internet, he could turn on his tablet. Huamian and Jixin only chatted occasionally with each other. When it be time, it was time. They had a mean. After a bumpy ride, they finally mean. Paradise Island was an island that many people liked because it was clean, beautiful, and had a nice name. Therefore, Qin Shu booked 4 days and 3 nights and spent the next few days on this small island. The moment they landed on the island, everyone was amazed except for Qin Shu. He didn't seem to be too excited under normal circumstances. It's so beautiful, oh my god. I can't believe there's such a sea, Jixin exclaimed. It's definitely God's son,
Huamin said.
This was based on the most popular sentence on the internet, which said that the Maldives was a drop of God's tear on earth. Therefore, Huamian was a super talented person. She was able to express such a literary sentence in plain language. Chapter 841. She had never seen such a surreal sea in her 24 years of life. The water was so clear that she could see the bottom, and all kinds of small fish swam in the shallows, as if they weren't afraid of humans. The sky was strangely blue, as if an artist accidentally spilled his ink. Clouds floated in the sky not far away like cotton candy. It was hard to imagine a scene like this if one didn't see it with their own eyes. Even though the sun was about to set, it was still so irresistibly mesmerizing. The photography team and bodyguards behind them all took out their phones to take pictures and post them on WeChat. Jixin couldn't help but take out his phone and take pictures like crazy. Then he shouted at Huamin, "Sis, don't move, I'll take one for you." Huamin turned around and smiled slightly. Jixin took a picture and realized that his sister's picture was so beautiful. President Qin, everyone is probably tired. Let's go back to our rooms and get some rest. Dinner will be ready soon, the casual female assistant said. Qin Shu nodded. Then, he held Huamin's hand and walked to the most luxurious floating house. On the wide bed, there was a heart made of roses, and in the middle was a swan folded with a white towel. On the table was a teardrop-shaped vase with heavenly fragrant lilies inside. All in all, this place was full of romance and surprises. Do you like it like this? Qin Shu asked as he gently hugged Huamin. Don't mention it. I came here to take a look and realized that we're not even in the sea. At most, it's a muddy lake. Upon hearing Huamin's complaint, Qin Shu couldn't help but laugh. You must be tired. Go take a shower first, we'll rest for a bit. Okay. Huamin nodded. Then, she turned around and went into the bathroom to take a warm bath. There was even rose essential oil in the water. The service was amazing. When she walked out in her bathrobe, she was very shy because, logically speaking, something would happen between the two of them after they took a shower and were alone. Hwamin thought that Mr. Chin wouldn't be able to control himself and would push her down, however. As soon as she came out, she was dumbfounded. Mr. Chin was probably exhausted. After changing into beach shorts and a white t-shirt, he fell asleep on the bed. His breathing was very light, and his eyelashes were beautiful. Hwamin's favorite thing to see Chin choose sleep. It was quiet and beautiful. Hwamin that she couldn't control herself. Along the way, Hwamian and Jishin ate, drank, and slept when they were tired. Chin Chu, on the other hand, wasn't as relaxed. After they got off the plane, he did us. Now, he could have a goods of SSSS, S's sleep, S's, SSSS, S sleep, S of SSS, S. All the houses were made of wood and were built on water. Therefore, Hwamin's feet touched the water as she sat on the steps. The warm water wrapped around her white feet, and her heart was at peace like never before. Because Chin Chu booked the entire island, other than the staff, there were no tourists. Looking at the blue sky and white clouds, and listening to the cries of seagulls, Hwamin's mood was really lifted. Although she wanted to keep a low profile, she still wanted to take a picture and post it on her WeChat moments. She didn't take a selfie. Instead, she took a picture of the distant sea and posted it. The caption read, "May my heart be as peaceful as the sea." The location was automatically displayed, Maldives Paradise Island. Now, it was like a bomb. Ah, you heartless person. I can't believe you went to the Maldives without telling anyone. Zhu Lingling had just gotten off the plane and was about to take a shower and sleep when she saw Hwamin's hateful photo. I got on the plane and didn't know I was coming. It was all arranged by Mr. Chin, Hwamin replied with a smile. I'm so jealous. Why is Mr. Chin so nice? Why don't I have anyone to take me there? You can come with Gao Ran. Come on. It's hard for him to even ask for a day off. It's not realistic for him to come with me to the Maldives. To her surprise, as soon as Zhu Lingling finished complaining, Gao Ran replied, If I go with you, will you live stream yourself eating shit? You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.